Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Vidane TV. A little bit of doubleheader action happening here this Thursday night. Thank you so much for joining us over on Facebook and over on YouTube. Tim's Corner Motorsports, Rent a Race Car, the NEPS League, Shift Marketing and Design. Lots of people tuning in here this evening for some action here. First up, Tim's Corner Motorsports special events, the circuit breaker here at Stafford Motor Speedway. A little bit of heat racing, just getting qualifying wrapped up, taking the top 12 drivers on time here from the qualifying, and they're going to be going right into the feature. A couple of heat races, 8-minute heat races, two of those, 6 drivers from each of them, and going to be running a 24-car field here for a 35-minute feature. Good evening, everybody. Paul Strickland Jr. here in the booth alongside me, Denver Matchett. Denver, great to have you here on a Thursday night, calling some action here at my home track, Stafford Motor Speedway.
Absolutely, Paul. Thanks for having me on, and thanks to Tim for putting this event on. They're calling it the Circuit Breaker. Some different COVID regulations going on through parts of the Maritimes, but that's all right. We have the entertainment tonight. And Paul, I know it's your home track, but I love Stafford. It's such a fun track, a half-mile oval, not a whole lot of banking, really a driver's track, and we have a unique format tonight. I'm curious to see how the strategy plays into it with time races instead of set distances. That could be good, that could be bad. We'll see what happens as we're getting ready for heat number 1, and some PEI drivers are going to be on the front row. Tanton Wolveridge in car number 56 on the pole to his outside. Mini stock driver Mitchell Montgomery in car number 12.
Starting on row number 2 for heat race number 1, Ryan Walsh, the number 19 car. He's going to start P3. Corey Reed scheduled to start P4. Does not look like he made the call. He's going to have to maybe start this race later or see what he happens to do after that. Aiden Christensen, Phil Fowler, Dave Horton, Chris Walsh, and Mitchell Hutchins rounding out the field here. 9 drivers. We're taking the top 6 to the main event here for the circuit breaker here at Stafford Speedway.
8 minutes will be the length. Tim Terry told us he expects that to be approximately 15 laps, but we'll see how this goes. We'll see what we have caution-wise. Only 9 cars, Paul. It should be a relatively clean race. Any predictions for this heat number 1? We have, it appears 8 cars as Corey Reed's still not making the call. We're taking 6. What do you expect?
There we see Corey just popped into the server. He's on pit road now, so he may very well make this feature. But Dan Wooldridge, always fast wherever he goes. Young Bandolero driver from up your way, and always fast wherever he goes in that number 56 machine. But it's really hard to tell. This half-mile track is a little bit tricky sometimes, and you can see a great shot there coming out of turn number 4. I've actually made some laps here on a real street stock, and man, I got to tell you, it's a blast, and it's really cool to be able to watch these drivers race here at Stafford in the sim, because the cars don't quite feel the exact same. You're never going to be able to mimic the exact feeling of a real race car, but the braking points and the signs, the billboards, all the different marks on the track, all pretty accurate. So it's really cool to be able to get your braking points down. As you can see, the iRacing pace truck is going to dip down pit road, getting ready to take that green flag as Tanton Woolridge drops that hammer, and he's going to take the lead into turn number 1.
Woolridge gets the whole shot, and the drivers, they're sliding up the track in behind Montgomery and Walsh, battling for position number 2, but up front, it's all Tanton Woolridge. There you see the battle for position number 2. We're going to look to make it 3 wide. Aiden Christensen to the inside, a little bit of contact. What a save by Ryan Walsh. That's going to allow Montgomery to get clear for the second spot. Walsh and Christensen going to regroup as they battle for second, third, and fourth. This might be just what Montgomery needed to maybe open up the gap, but we see Christensen, he's diving it to the inside, trying to get that bottom line, just can't make it stick. As they come down the front stretch, maybe touch the wall just a little bit, and we got trouble. Someone went for a little slide, a little jump through the infield. We stay green for now. That is the number 18, I believe, of Chris Walsh.
Messing up the grass there on the front stretch. It's going to dip him back down to 8th position. We can confirm Corey Reed has joined the field. He is on the lead lap, started the race from pit road, so he's going to, currently running in the 9th position, has to better that by 3 spots, or he's going to be going home here tonight. Taking a look, there's the 56 car of Tanton Woolridge. He gone. He has checked out on the field. There you can see about a 12-car length lead over Mitchell Montgomery. And that number 12 car, looks like the battle for third is starting to heat up. As you can see, the 24 of Aiden Christensen using that apron here at Stafford Motor Speedway. And you'll see that a lot in real life at the track. These drivers will get right down on that apron. It's a different level of banking down there, and it really helps turn the car. The last time I did that, I actually spun out. But some of these drivers really, really good at it.
Absolutely. Just wanted to, for the viewers, you'll see on the ticker, it says lap 6 of 25. We're actually running 8 minutes. That's a little bit of the error, Paul, I guess, with the way this timing and scoring is set up. But we're going 8 minutes. We got about 6 minutes left. But these guys are really taking to this track well. I watched a bit of practice, and it was a little bit of a wreck fest by times. Some guys hitting the wall. Like you said, this is a little bit of a challenging track, but Tan Woolridge got this place figured out. It seems he is flying up front. Got a bit of 2-second lead over fellow Islander Mitchell Montgomery. Right now, the drivers on the outside looking in. Dave Horton is running in position number 7. He's got Mitchell Hutchings in his sights, but he's got 5.5 minutes left at this point to make something work to get up to that spot. But for Chris Walsh, Corey Reed, Walsh after that spin, Reed after just barely making the field, they're going to probably need a caution or a little bit of lady luck to advance into this one. We still got a long ways to go. As you see the battle, Phil Fowler and Hutchings, they're going to battle for position number 5. Give it to Hutchings. He clears the Newfoundland driver of Phil Fowler coming down the backstretch. And now you see, just up ahead, we got the battle for third once again. This time Christensen looks like he's going to get a little bit of contact. Walsh tagged the wall a little bit. Christensen's going to get the spot, but Walsh is going to drive it in deep. Nothing there. Christensen looks to set sail. He's got position number 3.
And you made mention that lap counter up in the top left of your screen there next to the rolling ticker showing you everybody's positions. It's essentially an estimated lap time value. The iRacing simulation is taking a look at the lap times that are currently being run, and it's giving it's saying right now we've got 4.5 minutes left, so it thinks we can run a full 25 laps in that amount of time. And then once we get closer to the 1 minute mark, you'll actually see that start counting down 5 laps to 3 laps to 2 laps, and then finally the white flag. So it may seem like we are a little bit confused when it comes down to the finish of these heat races and the 35-minute feature. It's probably because we are confused. But we will absolutely do our best to make sure we get all the right calls here on the first time race we've done here in a little bit. And pretty cool little deal. It's 8 minutes heat races, a pair of those, and they're the top 6 drivers from each of these heat races going to join the top 12 drivers in qualifying times. And going to have ourselves a 24-car feature, 35 minutes here at Stafford Motor Speedway. Very, very exciting action here. And then coming up after the fact, actually a home track for a lot of the NEPS drivers, the New England, Pennsylvania iRacing Group. 2 races left in their championship season. They're running at Dover, or they're running at Irwindale here tonight. And that's going to be immediately following the Tim's Corner Motorsports Circuit Breaker. And we actually saw Ryan Libby made a qualifying attempt here, and I believe he qualified in the top 12. So he is pulling double duty tonight, and he's actually going to try and get after John Peters, leading that championship in the NEPS League coming up here later on tonight. But still back here, status quo up front. Tanton Wooldridge has a very commanding lead, 3 seconds now over Mitchell Montgomery in that number 12 car. Aiden Christensen in the 3rd place position. Ryan Walsh, Mitchell Hutchings, and Phil Fowler currently rounding out the top 6. And those are the transfer spots to try and get into the big show here later on tonight.
You know, Paul, if I'm a driver, I really would like this format. This is essentially turning into a practice session. You know, when you set a time race, you typically account for cautions. You have to. You know, if we set this race for 3 or 4 minutes and you get a caution, that's the race. The whole thing gets run under caution. So 8 minutes allows for a caution or 2 if it gets a little rough. But this has been clean and green. And for these guys up front, Woolridge, Montgomery, Christensen, this is really just a long practice session that's going to really, I would say, advantage them come race time, because they're going to have 25-ish laps of experience under the belt from running this heat race. Now, mind you, we could still see a caution or 2, or well, probably only 1 if any, coming on, as we have about 2 minutes remaining in this heat race. But it's really going to be an advantage, because typically a heat race is 10-15 laps, and they're getting about a 25-lap green flag run, assuming we stay green till the end of the time.
2-minute warning, and like you made mention, Tanton Wooldridge coming up on lap traffic. There you can see Corey Reed made it out to the track, and he did get around that number 18 of Chris Walsh for that 8th position, but that's not going to get it done. Needs 2 more spots. Needs to get around Dave Horton and Phil Fowler to try and get into the 35-minute feature here tonight. But there you can see Tanton Wooldridge getting right up on the back bumper of Chris Walsh, and you can see he's right on the bottom of the racetrack, right on that apron, trying to get the wheels hooked up, tires hooked up, and use that apron to turn just a little bit. And you'll see that happen quite often with the late models, the modifieds, all the different, the street stocks as well, all the different cars that run at Stafford Motor Speedway. And like you made mention earlier, it seems like Tanton's figured this place out pretty quickly.
Tanton's opened up over a 4-second lead. Really a commanding performance. He has been unchallenged in this heat race. Mitchell Montgomery has been running second the whole time, and Aiden Christensen made the pass for 3rd, but he's just been riding ever since. Mind you, a driver that's made up some ground in this race was Mitchell Hutchings. He was running position number 6 the last time I looked, and now I look at the timer, and he's up to 4th. So he definitely made some ground, and he appears to be ever so slightly closing the gap on Christensen, but probably not going to have enough time, as we are down to the final 30 to 40 seconds in this one. There you see the battle. Hutchings and Christensen, but Hutchings wants to make the move. He's got to make it happen right now, as we're getting down. The countdown's on, Paul. This is it. But Tanton Wooldridge, what a performance for him. He's going to start 13th, I believe, in the feature with this, but with 35 minutes, that'll be lots of time for this young driver from Prince Edward Island to make his way towards the front. I would bet money he will.
A white flag, a white rag in the air. There you can see Tanton Wooldridge starting to close up on Corey Reed just a little bit, but not going to press the issue too much as he is on the final lap here for the first 8-minute heat race and did a fantastic job there. You see he slaps the wall just a little bit. Kind of a congratulatory deal there. You can see Mitchell Montgomery finishes in the second position as he crosses the stripe, heads on down into turn number 1. Aiden Christensen, Mitchell Hutchings, Ryan Walsh, and Phil Fowler making themselves into the show. Dave Horton, Corey Reed, and Chris Walsh going to have to watch here on Vidane TV.
Well, that was interesting, Paul. The first time ever, I believe, for this format in the Tim's Corner Motorsports iRacing events. Tanton Woolridge is the king of the clock so far. He takes home heat win number 1 in the 8-minute affair, but now we got heat number 2, and I see some big names in this one. Starting up front, it will be the 29 of Daniel Vitch, and to his outside, Cadence Frizzell in car number 196. Another PEI driver in Troy Burke. He's a former champion, I believe, at Oysterbed Speedway in the Pro Stock division. He'll roll off position number 3 with Tony Wright in position number 4.
Rounding out the rest of the field there, you can see the number 14 of Terry Duguay going to start in the 5th position. Quentin Carpenter going to start that 16 car in 6th. Jake Scrivens in the number 4 is going to start 8th. And usually the lone American, Brett Suggs, in the 33 going to start 8th. But a couple of other Americans sprinkled in. We made mention Ryan Libby came over from the NEPS series. He's going to run here tonight. And we'll see just what these drivers can do in this 8-minute feature, or 8-minute heat race.
I would say, Paul, correct me if I'm wrong, but Brett Suggs must have missed qualifying, did he?
He may have missed qualifying. It's not like Brett Suggs to qualify outside really the top 3 in many races that we've seen him in. Very quick driver all over the place, any track or any car combo that we've seen him in. So may have missed qualifying. Sounds like there might have been a knock at the door. Tim, you've got a key to the booth. Just let yourself in.
Yeah. I can't confirm, Denver, that Brett Suggs was a late entrant to qualifying, got in, did not get a qualifying time in, so he'll start scratch. Danny Vitch not in the session, so he will forfeit the pole position. We gave these drivers 1 extra caution lap tonight, but it's still not in the race server. So like Corey Reed was able to get in and at least get on the racetrack in that last heat, Danny's not here. We're going to go green next time by the start-finish line, trying out a new-ish feature that iRacing has. You can delay starts and add pace laps to these races. So just giving that a test right now. And we're taking 6, 7 on the racetrack, 8 minutes. As long as you can keep the fenders on her and keep it straight, you may have a good shot at making this feature.
The driver to watch is going to be Brett Suggs starting from the back. That driver, I believe he is, if he's not leading the points, he's up there in points in the weekly series for the Tim's Corner Motorsports, but there you see it. Cadence Frizzell, Troy Burke now in the front row. We're getting ready for green. 8 minutes, the length, and there is, what a launch for that 0-1 of Burke, and they're going to go into turn number 1. Burke clears Frizzell. Frizzell looked to pull a crossover, but there was nothing there. And look at Suggs riding the outside wall. He is making it happen as Jake Scrivens is going to slide back, but no, he's going to battle back on the inside. Suggs and Scrivens battling for that transfer spot here in the early goings, but Troy Burke, what a launch on that initial start to come away with the lead.
A little bit of a tighter pack here, it looks like, in this second heat race. Everybody pretty much jammed right in together. There you see some issues there for Terry Duguay in the 14 car. That's big, because that's going to slide him out of, well, not quite slide him out. Looks like there is a caution on the speedway. The 4 car gets out of shape as well, so that gives us an opportunity to pull up the Kong Beer Bong instant replay, and we're going to take a quick peek. We saw what happened to the Terry Duguay machine, but we didn't quite see what the 4 happened there. It looks like he slapped the wall just a little bit as he was battling with that number 33 of Brett Suggs. Here you can see the 4 of Jake Scrivens down on the bottom side and going to try and get up to the back bumper. Actually, it looks like something may have broke on that race car, because that was just a hard right-hand turn into the outside wall, and there you can see the issues for Terry Duguay. It looks like he got that car collected and pointed in the right direction, but there's the damage on the 4 car. Big-time crinkle there in the front right fender. That's going to be something to keep an eye on. That's definitely going to affect the handling of this race car. There you can see slaps the wall again, so it might be something broke on that number 4 car.
That is certainly a tough break. Like we said, there's only 7 drivers entered in this heat race, and we're taking 6. So with Scrivens down pit road, he just to lose a couple laps potentially, that would pretty much seal the deal. barring any other circumstances. Obviously, racing, anything can happen, but that car does not look like it's driving real well, Paul. It almost looks like a bit of a monster truck. As the crew made some fast repairs, there seems to be a whole lot of not so good things going on with that car. But he's going to try to get it wound up and try to work his way into a transfer spot, whether that be through wheeling and muscling that damaged car, or maybe through a little bit of luck. But definitely not a good start for the 4-car of Jake Scrivens. And honestly, the driver that caught the big break from Scrivens' mistake was Duguay, because if Scrivens had kept that car straight, Terry Duguay would have been well behind the pack and out of a transfer spot.
So it looks like the battle for that transfer spot is going to be back there in that 6th position. Terry Duguay and Jake Scrivens, both a little bit of damage. The Force got a little bit more damage on the right side of that race car. A good shot here from turn 1, as you can see. Just completely jacked up that right front quarter panel, but we'll see how it affects the handling here. Gonna line them up 2x2. Lights are off on that pace truck. Timer on the clock says 5 minutes to go. 5 minutes in this 8-minute heat race, and you can see the with the caution, the laps estimated change. The estimated laps to go there changes up top. 6 of roughly lap 22, but there goes the pace truck. He's going to dip on down, and we're going to come up to the restart. And there it is. A great start again by the 2 front drivers, the 01 of Troy Burke and Cadence Frizzell. A little bit of tap there, and these drivers are all over the place. Take a look at that 33 car. He's going to try and make it 3 wide. See if he can just move himself right up in the top 5, and thinks better of it. Backs up into that 5th position, but still side by side with the 09 and Tony Wright.
There's Suggs using that apron. He's going to try to clear it. Oh, another big wreck. Back. That's Scrivens and Duguay. Looks like we're going to stay green, but Scrivens had that car off the ground once again. Those 2 drivers, one of them gets the transfer, but they can't decide who wants to get the transfer spot. But we're seeing some great racing up front. These guys are getting racy. Frizzell and Burke for the lead. Then you got Carpenter and Suggs for position number 3. Still, we're only halfway through this one. 4 minutes remaining, so lots of time to make something happen. But there you see, the 16 of Carpenter drifts up the track a little bit. Look at the launch Suggs get on that apron. Wow, he has that bottom figured out. That's going to put the 33, Brett Suggs, up into position number 3, and now he's going to set his sights on Cadence Frizzell and Troy Burke, as I believe Jake Scrivens may have been down pit road. There's Troy Burke, all kinds of sideways, and there to the outside is Cadence Frizzell, and they're going to come together. They're going to wreck. They're going to save it. Wow.
They're going to wreck again. They're going to save it again. Brett Suggs to the lead.
Wow.
And that right there, I don't mean to cut you off, but that right there is why everybody at Stafford Motor Speedway calls this steel cage racing. There you can see, still slapping each other around, the 01 and the 196. Still pointing in the right direction. The caved-in sheet metal there on the race cars. We are still green, and it looks like these drivers are still in the top 6. Terry Duguay currently has that 6th transfer spot. He's trying to hold off Jake Scrivens. Jake Scrivens 3 laps down, so it looks like we have everybody that's going to transfer in. If we don't have anything big happen here, just under 3 minutes to go. Brett Suggs with the lead, 1.2 seconds over Quentin Carpenter in that 16 car, and I think the 16 may have burnt off that right rear tire, and there you can see some damage on the left or the right front of that car. Really driving that car as hard as he can to try and hold on to a top spot, but Brett Suggs looks like he's checked out at this point. Move that up to 1.5 seconds here in just a lap. Brett Suggs really hauling the mail, starting shotgun in the field, moving up to the front with 2 minutes to go.
Someone must have, probably the spotters, told these drivers that the 7th place car pitted, Paul, because as soon as Jake Scrivens headed to the pits, these guys, they got a little wild out there. They knew they were in the race, and they decided that we're going to try to fight for it. And fight they did. There you see, those were the 2 that started it up front, the battles between Burke and Frizzell. That got wild, but that allowed Brett Suggs on the bottom to stay clear of the whole mess and come away with the lead. He is setting sail. And making some decent lap times up there, but Quentin Carpenter trying to reel him in, but with about a minute and a half left, probably not going to have a lot of time. There you see 01 of Burke, and there's the race leader, Brett Suggs. Look at how smooth he is. Right up against the wall. Now that he's got no cars to pass, he's running a bit of a different line. Paul, they really seem to come in on the bottom at this track and then drift up right to the middle and then back to the bottom on corner exit. But when it comes to working through traffic, look at that through 3 and 4. Suggs right on the apron. Just incredible the way he runs this track. What a cool line. What a fun track this would be to drive.
Oh, it absolutely is, and if you ever wanted an opportunity and you're in the area, definitely check out the Rent a Race Car group. Good friends of mine going on 10 years. Had a Facebook memory pop up from 10 years ago when I met Gary Spinato Jr., one of the co-owners of Rent a Race Car, and they rent out street stocks. They've got 2 or 3 cars every single Friday night at the track. $650 gets you in the car. There's a crash deposit, but if you don't wreck the car, you get that deposit back the same night. So lots and lots of fun, and you can see just Brett Suggs really trying a couple of different things here. 3 and 4 using that apron, every last bit of that apron to get that car to turn. You can see up here in turns 1 and 2, kind of runs a little bit higher and has a late apex, so he's really able to mash the throttle here, pointing that thing out towards the backstretch wall. And just a fun racetrack to drive, and it seems like Brett Suggs has figured that out. And it's just looking at a 3-second lead now over Quentin Carpenter in second.
Wow, Suggs really has opened it up in the final half of this race as we are down. Time about to expire. We are on the final lap of this one, and Suggs, he has cruised to the victory after avoiding the, I guess we'll call it chaos that we saw just around the halfway mark. But all the drivers on the track, they are going to transfer. Suggs doing a little bit of a celebration coming off of 4. He's going to do a little bit of some drifting, and you know, he certainly earned that one. Came from the back to the front, avoided all the carnage, and he is your winner over Quentin Carpenter, Tony Wright, Cadence Frizzell, Troy Burke, and Terry Duguay. Jake Scrivens, after getting involved in a couple incidents, he will not qualify. And Daniel Vitch, what could have been for the driver that was to be on the pole, did make the call to the green. So that was an unfortunate turn of events for that driver, but that sets the field, Paul. 24 cars, 35 minutes. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Lining them up right away, getting everything set to go green here. There you can see up front, Joey Stiers, the number 23, claims the pole. 66 on the outside, that's going to go to Owen Mahar.
Jason Goss in car number 41 to the inside of row number 2. To his outside is going to be Mike Rhino. Mike Rhino was the fastest in practice. He'll be fun to watch. And right behind him in position number 5, you've talked about this driver already, Paul. That's Ryan Libby, car number 46. He was second fastest in practice. He is one of the drivers to watch tonight, and to his outside will be car number 112. That is Justin Collison.
Some familiar names behind them. There you see Campbell Delaney in the 9, going to start 7th. Riley Duncan on the outside of him in the 97. And there you can see the row behind them. Nick Codner in the 54 starting 9th. And rounding out the top 10, looking like Ashton Tucker, going to be the Oxford Weekly Racing Series champion. Looking like he may very well miss the call here. Just everybody's starting to move on up. There you see Caden Tufts moves on up in that 88.
That'll be a tough break for the Oxford champion, as you said. Starting in position number 11, though, this is a driver I'm excited to watch. Making his return to iRacing, I believe. That is the 17 of Ricky Miller. And to his outside will be the 88 of Caden Tufts. Mind you, Caden moving up a spot with Tucker appearing to miss the call to the green. And then starting in the next row, that is the winners of our heat races. 2 fast cars, 2 talented drivers, Kent Woolridge and Brett Suggs.
Rounding out the rest of the field, starting 15th, Mitchell Montgomery, Quentin Carpenter on the outside of him, Aiden Christensen, Tony Wright, Mitchell Hutchings, Cadence Frizzell, Ryan Walsh, Troy Burke, Phil Fowler, and starting shotgun on the field, the number 14 of Terry Duguay. Stacked field here tonight, 24 drivers. Took the top 12 qualifying times in a 2-lap qualifying, and then we took the top 6 from each of those 2 8-minute qualifying heat races, and we're running a 35-lap feature, estimated going to be about 70-75 laps, maybe even up to 100 depending on the cautions. But there goes the pace truck. Here comes the green flag. Joey Stiers, the number 23, gets a great jump there on the Owen Mahar machine. That's going to be the number 1 car. Shoots all the way up to the outside. And there you can see Jason Goss moving into that second position. Oh, trouble for the 1 car. Shoots on up to the outside. He's going to slap that outside wall. No caution, but definitely going to lose a lot of positions.
What a beautiful sight. The field of super late models running around the half-mile oval at Stafford. Really seeing these guys getting... there's a car around, and I didn't see who that was. That is
78.
the 78, Mitchell Hutchings. And that, are we going to stay green, or are we under caution, Paul?
Nope.
We're still green.
Nope, brought the caution back out, I believe.
Oh, there it is.
There it is, yep. Barney sleeping there on the flag stand, but does look like Mitchell was able to get that thing pointed in the right direction, grabbed a gear. Looked like he was stuck on a wall briefly, but looks like there may have, there was a little bit of help, but it came from in front of him. It looks like the 196 got into the 01 just a skosh. And there you can see a second tap there, and it sends the 01 car around, and as he hits the grass, comes right back up. Man, nowhere for the 78 car to go. That's a tough break. Yes?
Caution is on the 88 and 97 at a turn 1-2.
See if we can back that up one more again.
While we wait for that, Paul, I wonder if that maybe was a little bit of a continuation of our heat race when Burke and Frizzell got together battling for the lead. And there you see 88-97. Yes, Tufts Duncan. Duncan goes around. So 2 incidents on both ends of the track, bringing out the first caution of this 35-minute race.
That's the Kong Beer Bong instant replay that we've got here now at Verdane TV. Huge shout out to those guys for jumping on board as an associate sponsor here with Verdane TV. Be sure to check them out, kong.2drunk.net. Pretty cool little party favor, and well, they work very well. We tried them out before the race here tonight. Did a little quick video on the Twitch stream over there, Strictly 94 on Twitch, and works out pretty good. Definitely going to be bringing it to the racetrack here. Opening night, or opening weekend, Spring Sizzler scheduled for the last weekend of April. So looking forward to that. Looking forward to showing up to the racetrack and camping out for 3 or 4 days and working on race cars, watching some steel cage racing, and chowing on those pulled pork sandwiches that they've got at the track. It's one of my favorite foods is the Stafford Speedway pulled pork sandwich. There's just something about it that just really knocks me through a loop.
That sounds incredible. I have never heard of a track that has pulled pork before, and I already wanted to get to Stafford on top of the bucket list, but that really ups the ante. And I hear you guys got another big show coming up down there this year, Paul, with the Ray Abraham and Tony Stewart Superstar Racing Experience on June 12th.
Absolutely. Looking forward to that. We're going to be camping out that weekend as well, because the night before that, the Verdane Racing Championship night, the past 2 seasons of Super Speedway Series champions going to be racing the street stock race that Friday night. So big weekend at Stafford Speedway for us in that. And green flag is out, and another great jump there for Stiers in the 23. Battle for second. Here comes Libby in the 46. He's going to get on the back bumper of the 23. Think better of it, because he's got Jason Goss in the 41 on the outside.
Brett Suggs a little bit farther back. He is on the move. Started in 13th or 14th. He's up to 7th. And now there you see Libby is going to try to make a move. Oh, we got big trouble coming down the front stretch. I believe that's Campbell Delaney and possibly Nick Codner going for a ride. We got cars spinning in 1 and 2. We got wrecks all over the place. There's another one. There's Phil Fowler around. Caden Tufts once again. And that's going to bring up the caution. I think we might have about 6 or 7 different replays to look at there, Paul, because that got messy coming down the front stretch, and it didn't stop with wrecks continuing right through turns 2.
Yeah, a lot of a couple of drivers trying to avoid some wrecks, it looks like, and we can see Cameron Delaney was involved. There's a couple of other drivers involved here as well. We're actually going to take a look at the blimp for this one, because there was a lot going on, and we'll see if we can maybe call it all in one shot. We'll actually slow it down here just a bit as well, because we can do that here in Verdane TV. So we're going to focus in the 54 of Codner and the 9 of Campbell Delaney and see exactly what happened there. You can see the 54 down on the apron. Not like it's any kind of out of bounds here on Stafford. We've already made mention a lot of these drivers able to use that. But there you can see the 9 gets loose coming out of turn number 4, as does the 54. They make contact, send themselves down into the grass. And then there was another piece of contact. The 196 and the 09 come together up there as they're heading into turn number 1. Big slide from the 09. 196 tries to get around them. There you can see the 09 moves up into the 19. Caden Tufts involved in that as well. And there you see Fowler in the 11 gets involved. So kind of a domino effect. This wreck started up in the top 5, and it almost domino affected all the way through towards the back of the field. There you can see the 78 skating on by, as well as the 1. But a tough break for a lot of these drivers, including Caden Tufts in the 88.
Certainly a tough break, and I think we're only a couple of laps into this one, and about half the field has already gotten damage in some capacity, partially due to that one. That was a Not that it was a large wreck, but it was a long one, and it collected lots of drivers. Owen Marr made a pit stop under this yellow flag. This will be a fun restart, though, Paul, when we get this back going. Joey Steers has had some good launches so far, but Ryan Libby, he's going to get his first crack on the front row. He'll be on the outside. Be interesting to see what he's got. He's got a fast car, we know that. Another fast car in row number 2 with Mike Rhino restarting in position number 3, and Brett Suggs already up to 5th, Tanton Woolridge already up to 7th. I got to think that you look at that top 7, I really think the winner tonight's going to come out of those 7 drivers. Lots of talent, and we're already seeing the cream rise to the top. Even though we've only run about 3 or 4 green flag laps, and we still have nearly a full half hour to go, lots of talent up there near the front.
And there goes the pace truck. He's going to shoot down on pit road, grabbing one of those pulled pork sandwiches. And there you see the restart. Ryan Libby able to hold on to the outside there of Joey Stiers. Move him up just a little bit. There's a bump from Mike Rhino into the back of the 23. Still side by side, door to door as they head down the backstretch. And a great restart and just drivers 2x2 all the way throughout the field here. Great racing at Stafford Motor Speedway.
Joey Stiers drove it in deep, kind of used up the 46 will be just a little bit, but there you see trouble at the back once again. There look to be about 4 cars wadded up on the exit of turn number 4, including the 01 of Troy Burke. We're going to bring out the replay here, and I see the 01 and Campbell Delaney. Paul, do you want to take this one from here?
Yeah, you can see Campbell Delaney looks like he just get on the binders a little bit late, gets into the back of the 01 slightly. Just kind of a domino effect there. Some contact, sends the 01 around. You see Caden Tuff skating by, some damage from the previous wreck. But, real close. Nope, gets the clips that car. It didn't catch the number on that, but there you see the 19 skating up on the wall. The Frizzell machine of the 196 does a great job getting stopped. A little bit of a bump on that car. Didn't look like it was too heavy a damage. But the 01, Troy Burke, starting to collect some bent-up sheet metal on that race car. As you can see, he's going to call for the tow truck and shoot on down to pit road. Actually got a text message here from the 112 driver, Justin Collison, who's running in the top 10 here under the last caution. Says he loves racing at Stafford Motor Speedway. He's done it in the past, and he plans on making the road trip down here for a couple of races this season, COVID pending. And here in Connecticut, Governor Lamont finally did say that we're able to open up most of the outdoor facilities for concerts and sports and all that good stuff coming up in the next couple of weeks. I believe it was March 19th was the date on it, and in the first week of April we're able to start to really open things up here a little bit in Connecticut, and that makes a lot of the race fans very, very happy. Stafford Motor Speedway did a phenomenal job last year getting the racing season in with 25% capacity at the racetrack and in the paddock area. It was a little bit tough trying to get tickets ahead of time, but we did what we could, and it sounds like Tim's at the door.
Hey guys, you guys having fun yet?
Absolutely.
Just wanted to let you guys know there is a 25-point incident cap. I know you guys can't see incident points, but we can tell you that there are 3 drivers already that are past halfway on the incident cap. We've had 3 cautions. It seems like it's the guys up front are doing their job. It's the guys at the back that seem to just kind of congregate together and create those incident points. Ashton Tucker did not answer the call to the green, and being told that Ricky Miller has some things to do up west at 8:55, so he will likely not be able to make the full length of this one, but he got a brand new computer, to him from Colin Brewer, so he's trying to get some seat time tonight.
What the hell is there to do up west, Tim?
What happens up west stays up west.
we'll go with that as the pace truck is rolling off, and Stiers and Libby on the front row. Green flag back in here. Let's see if we can't get some green flag racing as we are passing the 10-minute mark in this one. 10 minutes down, 25 to go. The 23 car gets a launch. A lot better of a restart for the 23 that time. He is going to almost clear Libby. Not quite. He should on corner exit this time. And now Mike Rhino's going to look to the inside of the 46 as they're going to battle up front. We get another wreck out back and another caution flag. And there's the 01 again. There's the 78 again. That looks like the 16. We're going to bring in Paul for yet another replay. I don't know. Turn 3 and 4 every time seems to be a problem for these drivers out back.
Yeah, it is a little bit tricky coming out of turn number 4. That wall really does creep up on you in a relatively quick fashion. But we're going to take a look here. We can see it looks like it was a 78 was the initial content. Nope, check that. 16 all the way on the left side of your screen. Gets a bump there from Riley Duncan. And there you can see kind of blocks the bottom side of the track. Christensen and the 24 gets in there. And you can see the 19 tries to slow up, but he gets a bump from the Frizzell machine. There you can see the 78 and the 16. The 19 tearing up the grass. The 01 barely gets clipped from the 19. That sends him around. The good news is that's not a big hit. That's just kind of a lazy spin through the grass. But the bad news is that counts towards incidents. I believe that's going to be 2 incident points on the 01. But you can see he towed down to pit road. So I don't believe he is out of this thing just yet. But with a 25 lap or a 25 incident count cap, that's going to be tough to stay under here with some of these drivers in the back.
Absolutely, and the 01 down laps now by the looks of it, so even if he does get back out, you take the amount of damage that car is, it's taken a beating, involved in wreck after wreck, and really that one, there's just nowhere to go, wrong place at the wrong time. You can't fault Troy Burke for that. Things happen in front. He almost had it clear and just got clipped at the last moment. But really tough break for some of these guys out back. I think if you look through, about 10th on back has been collected in at least one incident so far. The top 9, congrats to them. They are putting on a show, clean and green. I know they want to get some green flag racing in. We've run a lot of laps under caution so far, but we're hoping that will change. We'll soon be getting ready to line them back up for the restart. And what do you think, Paul? Are we going to get some green flag racing in this time, or are we not done wrecking yet?
I think a little from column A, a little from column B. It's unfortunate in racing all the way across the board. Cautions do breed cautions, but I think these drivers are getting a little bit sick of running under yellow. I know Justin Collison is actually, he's pretty happy with these yellows. He's actually got a bowl of pasta in the race car. He's trying to eat his spaghetti under caution, but it seems to be working out for him. But lights are off on the pace truck. We're going to line them up 2 by 2 again, try and get this thing running. There you see status quo up front. Joey Steyer's down on the inside. Ryan Libby on the outside. And a couple of big, strong contenders there in the second row. Mike Rhino inside, Brett Suggs outside, Jason Goss, Tanton Woldridge, Justin Collison, Mitchell Montgomery, Ricky Miller, and Caden Tufts rounding out the top 10. And not saying those race cars are clean. There's been a little bit of squirreliness up front, but very, very fast drivers. Really, this race could go to anybody. Green flag in the air, and we're going racing once again here at Stafford Speedway.
Oh, and no, we're not. We are wrecking. We're going to wad them all. A big wreck. Woolridge on his roof. Someone else on his roof. There's Terry Duguay. There's, I believe, Mitchell Montgomery upside down. We stacked them all up on the entrance of turn number 1. And Paul, I think we're up to only the top 5 being clean now. That was a big... we didn't even get the green flag. They were coming past the start-finish line. And to the infield they spun, and, kind of one of those self-cleaning deals. They went into the infield and washed up in front of the whole field in turn number 1. We're going to get a look at the replay. The 41 there, you see Jason Goss to the inside, Tanton Woolridge on the outside. This is where it starts, and I don't know what just looks like a bit of contact there, Paul. And Woolridge corrects it, and straight into that gap there. What a ride. Montgomery up through the air, and just everybody piles in. That was wild. There you see Terry Duguay piling in, Montgomery upside down. A lot of PEI drivers caught up in that one. Certainly a tough break, but that was something.
Big bada boom. And one thing we've been doing here on Verdane TV, every time somebody leaves the ground, we got to take a look at a cockpit replay, and we're going to look at Mitchell Montgomery here in the 12 car. And there you see the wreck. He feels like he's clear, but nope. Boom. Tanton Woldridge slaps him into the wall. He gets hit from behind. Ground sky, wall, ground, and a pretty blue wheel there on the left. He's going to call for a tow. It looks like the 12 machine is done here for tonight. And that pretty blue wheel looks like it belonged to Brett Suggs involved in that wreck. So that's tough. He was running up in the top 5 after starting about mid-pack, winning that second heat race. We'll see if we can pull up the replay again. And
made it through it looks like. Something just broke.
Yeah, we'll take a look at the restart one more time here before we get back green. And there's the restart. May very well have just pulled off the racetrack because the wreck happened behind him, so might have something going on where he's getting ready to move into another race there. You can see he just kind of pulls off the track cleanly there. So Brett Suggs out of this one.
He had enough. That's what you call.
He wanted one of those pulled pork sandwiches.
Hey, boys.
Yeah.
I don't blame Brett Suggs. We have gone to single file restarts to try to get these guys straightened out. Obviously, that was caused by a double file restart, so we are going to go to singles. Hopefully, these guys can get in a groove. That Riley Duncan just reminded them in the session there is still 20 minutes left in this race, so there's still plenty of time to make the moves, do what you have to do, and whatever cliche you want to use. But this will be a single file restart. If they can get 20 laps in, then we'll go back to double.
Great call by the race director. Phenomenal call. Hopefully that helps get some green flag racing in. As we're down, Paul, the top 4 are the only drivers left in this race that have not been collected in any sort of caution. So congrats to them. Great job. We started 24. We have 4 without damage, 20 left on the track. Green flag is in the air. Joey Stars is going to lead them off into turn number 1. No challenge this time to the outside. The single file restart looks like it's going to work well. What a run Libby got coming off turn number 2 down the backstretch. Libby's going to edge out ahead as they come through 3 and 4 side by side, battling down the front stretch, and it's going to be Steers at the line. But Libby, he's right there on the outside fighting back, and Mike Brino, he came to party. He's going to join us. He gets a little loose, maybe a little tap from Justin Collison. And look at the crossover. Libby to the inside for the lead. Gets the run on the apron. Going to come up and wash up into Steers just a little bit. He's going to clear to the lead as Steers tags the wall. And now he's going to lose position number 2 to Mike Brino as well.
There you see Caden Tufts joining the picture there as well in the 88, the 112 of Justin Collison joining the party as well. Ryan Libby looking like he's got 3 or 4 car lengths over the new second place driver there. Oh, big slide and a spin. Joey Stars, it looks like he's going to hold. Nope, not going to hold on to it.
Wow.
Pointed in the wrong direction. Gets T-boned there in the passenger side door. Under caution once again here at Stafford Motor Speedway.
Well, I would like to take this opportunity to congratulate Ryan Libby and Mike Rhino. They are the last 2 cars on the track, not involved in a caution. I think we ought to line them up in the infield and let's do a head-to-head battle. See who's left after this. But congrats to those 2 drivers on not being involved in a caution. Caden Tufts, we saw him in an earlier wreck. He's up to 3rd. There you see the replay. But Tufts was involved in that one. Put the bumper to the 23 just a little bit. And look at that. That was the big hit. And it looked like everyone was going to miss Steers. Phil Fowler came in like a wrecking ball and really destroyed that 23 car. So a tough break for our early race leader. We are 35 laps in. We have just hit the halfway mark in this one. 35 laps, mostly all under caution if you're just tuning in. We got someone going through the dirt on the backstretch, Paul. I believe that might have been Tufts under this caution heading to pit road, maybe. Maybe that car just isn't turning.
That may very well be a penalty on the 88 getting sent to the back of the pack, or he's working on something on the inside of that car, but it looks like he's sliding towards the back for this restart.
Paul, you are correct. That is a caution car along with the 23. And Denver, I will correct you, the only driver without an incident point so far in this race is Ryan Libby. Everybody else has made contact with something or someone.
Wow. So congratulations to Ryan Libby. Mike Rhino I didn't see where he made the contact. He may not be the cleanest, but he is definitely the second cleanest. I think it's fair to say that.
Mike Rhino only has a 1X, so I'm assuming he probably drove it off the racetrack somewhere around this racetrack and hit the grass.
Okay. So those 2, they were the fastest in practice, and they've been the cleanest in the race so far. We didn't get 20 laps in for sure. We maybe got 2 laps in, Paul. I wasn't counting, but another single file restart will be coming up here. New contenders up front. Joey Steers is gone to 16th spot. It's going to be Ryan Libby and Mike Rhino restarting 1st and 2nd.
Now you can see the 17 of Ricky Miller. He has moved up to the 3rd position. Nick Codner running in the 4th. Justin Collison still holding on to that top 5. Owen Mahar, Aiden Christensen, Caden Frizzell, and Campbell Delaney. Quentin Carpenter rounding out the top 10 here. 15 minutes on the clock. Just about a little bit less than that. 14 and a half minutes to go here for the 35-minute feature. We thought we were going to try and get 100 laps in here at Stafford, but a little bit of a caution-filled fest here. The racing under green's been great so far. We had some great racing in the heat races as well, but still trying to get things collected, trying to get the drivers to make the right calls here on the track and see if we can get some green flag racing in. There you see the pace truck going to dip down pit road, and there's the jump from Ryan Libby, the 46 car. Green flag in the air. He's going to shoot down into turn number 1. About a 3-car length lead over Mike Rhino. Looks like the battle is going to be for third place. Codner going on the inside of the 17 of Ricky Miller.
There's the battle down the backstretch. Miller and Codner side by side. And there you see Codner's going to edge it ahead. Oh, Miller got into him a little bit. They stacked up. Great driving by those drivers to avoid calamity. We're going to stay green. Look at that. Owen Marr back up to 6 after. I think he was upside down at one point in this race. That just shows how this race is gone. Lots of calamity, and guys with damage are going to be contending for spots in the top 5. But up front, all Ryan Libby, all Mike Rhino. Those two setting sail. Rhino trying to follow in Libby's tire tracks. Libby just a little bit faster at this moment, but maybe Rhino trying to save a little bit in case we get another caution here. And as we work into the latter portion of this race, they're going to come up on a lap car here shortly. I believe that is car number 11 of Phil Fowler. It'll be interesting to see how these two manage the lap traffic, as we see a little bit of smoke there. Not sure what that was from, but we are still clean and green on this run. 46-34, that's the battle up front. Everyone else in behind is they're trying to get up there, but these two are setting sail. Well, Paul.
Yeah, Ryan Libby knows a thing or two about this track, has a start or two at this track, and you can see Mike Rhino right in his tire tracks. Not really gaining, not really losing, just kind of doing a little bit of studying there. You see Phil Fowler, he must have saw a bug or something shiny down there in the grass. We stay green. He's off the racing groove, and there you can see Mike Rhino runs out of racetrack, gives that wall just a little bit of a kiss as he crosses the start-finish line. Didn't slow him down too much. Still 3 car lengths behind Ryan Libby as they work the backstretch, heading down to turn number 3.
Phil Fowler must have been going for one of them pulled pork sandwiches, Paul.
That's not where they put him, though. They put him over on the other side of the stands.
Well, there's got to be he'll figure something out to get there. But
if there's food to find, Phil Fowler will find it.
Well, he certainly tried to, as he right in front of the leaders dove off into the infield. But the gap up front, these top two are about 2 seconds ahead of the third place car, which is the 54 of Nick Codner at this time. There you see Codner just coming into the shot. These two really seem to just want to run some laps. You know, there's still 12-ish minutes to go. These two have the best car. They have the cleanest cars, and they're just content to ride for now. As I believe the next car to go down a lap will be Joey Steers. Potentially, I believe, that green car up ahead. That was our early leader. Got caught up in a little bit of an incident after losing the lead and received some heavy damage, so a tough break for that driver. 17 cars left running on the track, and actually at this point they are all still on the lead lap.
Hey, Denver, Joey Stiers and Caden Tufts had an issue after we went green. I don't know if it was a continuance of what happened before, but Caden Tufts has pulled it in to pit road. He is done for the evening, and that would have been his third caution if it were to fly.
10-4, so you hear it there from Tim Terry. There's Tanton Woolridge on the inside. That was another driver, Paul, that we thought was going to have a good night tonight. Actually, I'll correct myself. I said that everyone was on the lead lap. Woolridge is still running in this race, albeit he is 20 laps down after ending up on his roof when he was battling up inside the top 5. But that was a driver we really thought was going to compete for the win, but he took probably the hardest hit of the night on that restart as he launched it into that little opening in the wall and got clobbered.
Yeah, dangerous spot on the racetrack. In real life, they've actually got a wooden kind of gate to block that off so you don't make any kind of perpendicular crashes there, because that'd be a very dangerous thing. Right there you see it in turn number 1, but still up front, it's going to be Libby in the lead. Mike Rhino following right in his tire tracks, and about 2.5 seconds back, you made mention, Nick Codner in third, Justin Collison running fourth, and Ricky Miller in fifth. And got to give a shout out to Danny over in the YouTube chat. She actually made the spaghetti that Collison was munching on a few cautions ago, so if there's any of that left, we'll take some down here in the booth for sure.
Absolutely, and there you see Joey Stiers sliding way up the track there. That's all right. We're still clean and green. These front two, the gap now is 2.5 seconds A little farther back there, you see 54, Nick Codner. He's running position number 3. Collison, now that he's all fueled up, is in position number 4, and Ricky Miller is in position number 5. I think his time is running out, though. Tim told us he had places to be and things to do. But with a good run like this going, it'd be hard to bail. He's in the top 5. Owen Marr. There you see a battle. Owen Marr looking to the inside of Miller for that top 5 position. So far, Marr not able to pull it off. He's going to drive in. There's the bumper. Miller gets a little sideways. They're going to battle it out here. Riley Duncan, this is going to get messy, Paul.
Yeah, get right up into the back bumper there. You can see he's really utilizing that apron in turns number 3 and 4, but it loosens the car up as he comes out of turn 4. A little bit better that time, but you saw the last time by really upset the back end of the race car, and you can see the 17 kind of drifts up high in 1 and 2, and not quite enough room for Mahar to get down there, but he's trying to use every bit of this racetrack to see if he can move himself into that top 5 position. There you can see right down on that apron coming out of turn number 4. Riley Duncan wants a piece of the action too. He's going to look down low, try and take that 6th spot away.
Marr drifts way up high. He's going to not only lose that spot, he's going to lose a bit extra ground there. Duncan up into position number 6. He's going to go to work on Miller now, see if he can't crack the code to get around car number 17. We see some good battles here a little farther back, just inside the top 10. Aiden Christensen, Quentin Carpenter, that is for position number 9, and they got Jason Goss right in their tire tracks as Christensen goes up the track a little bit. Bit of a run there for Carpenter, and there you see Duncan to the inside of Ricky Miller. There he goes, door to door, through turns 3 and 4, coming off the corner. Give the spot to Riley Duncan in the car number 97. Miller back to 6, and now Marr going to go back to work on the 17. Try to get around him once again. Duncan turning some decent laps, but top 4 are still considerably faster. Libby and Rhino are still doing battle there. You see, we might see a battle for the 3rd spot between Codner and Collison. Collison's right there on the bumper of the 54, but they are 3.5 seconds behind our top 2.
Battling it out here for the podium finish here, the top 3, and you can see some lap traffic in front of these drivers, so definitely going to play a factor in the passing grooves. So you can see Nick Connor doing everything he can to hold off the 112 of Collison, and Mike Rhino still right up in the tire tracks, about 3, 4, maybe 5 car lengths behind Ryan Libby, but Libby really having to deal with a lot of lap traffic in front of him at this point. Some of these drivers are going high, some of them are going low. There you can see the 14 of Terry Duguay going down a lap. It looks like he got a free pass earlier on after the earlier race incident, and the next one to go a lap down appears to be Ryan Walsh in the 19. That's going to be in front of Ryan Libby. So you can see Mike Rhino still having to deal with the same lap traffic that Libby does. It seems like Libby's able to work around these slower cars a little bit better. You can see the distance now 0.6 of a second between Libby and Mike Rhino.
Libby is just out for a cruise right now. He's opened up the gap a little bit. Right now it's half a second. Still got to contend with some lap traffic, and next up will be the 19 of Ryan Walsh as they come off of turn number 2. Libby closing the gap. Now, which way is he going to go? He's going to dive to the bottom. Walsh yields way up high. Libby going to slide on by. It looks like Rhino will be able to follow suit. Very sportsmanlike move there by Walsh to let the leaders slide by on the inside. And a little bit of an open track now for the 46 as we are closing in. We have, it looks like, with the final 5 or 6 minutes, 5 minutes and 50 seconds remaining at this point. So we're into the final portion of this race, and look at that. Libby is starting to drive away from Rhino. Maybe Rhino used up some of his stuff trying to stay with the 46 car. The gap now almost a full second. Libby putting on a clinic in these closing laps. He's got some open track ahead. The next car he will catch will be the 78 of Mitchell Hutchings, but he's still got about half a straightaway to get there. And in the mirror, Mike Rhino is getting smaller and smaller as Ryan Libby appears poised to cruise to victory. But it's not over yet, Paul. Anything can still happen.
Took us a minute to get there, but a nice green flag run here, working lap number 66. not going 106 laps here. That's an estimated deal that the iRacing simulation. We're going 35 minutes is the feature, and looking at the clock, 4 minutes 50 seconds remain here in this feature here this evening for the circuit breaker at Stafford Motor Speedway. And you made mention Ryan Libby putting on a clinic here. He's got a 1.2 second lead over Mike Rhino, but really coming up on the mid-pack here. Going to be closing in on the 13th position car of Mitchell Hutchings, and it looks like from 10th on back to 13th, they're pretty much right up together. So you never really want to lose a lap here, Denver, but you also don't really want to be the negative factor in the outcome of a race. So we'll see what these drivers do, if they're able to kind of move over and give Libby the position on track to get on around him, or if they're going to try and battle a little bit harder to try and stay on that lead lap.
For sure, Paul. You know, the sportsmanlike thing to do is to give the leaders a lane. Doesn't really matter which lane as long as you are consistent lap after lap, but give the leaders a lane and let them work around you. Especially you look at all these cars, most of them have a lot of damage from some of those earlier incidents we saw. As you see there, Libby's going to try to get to the inside of 78 of Hutchings. Hutchings not giving up the bottom, but he's got a battle. He is closed in on the 24 of Christensen. They're going to make a bit of contact, and that will open the door for Libby to slide by. Oh, the 78's going to try to race the leader a little bit. But Libby's going to be able to clear those lap cars as crossover after crossover behind him. The 78 and the 24 doing battle. And as this goes on, Paul, did you hear what the next special event is here for Tim's Corner Motorsports on iRacing?
I heard something dirt, something truck, something Bristol.
That is correct. Coming up on, I believe Tim said Tuesday night, which is the day that Bristol Dirt is launching on iRacing. The stars of the Tim's Corner Motorsports iRacing special events are going to head to Bristol for some truck racing in the dirt. That is sure to be fun. These guys sure do like to slide around, so it'll be fun to see how they make it in the dirt. And that'll be the first time any of them ever turn a lap on the dirt track at Bristol. So that will be fun. As we are down, Paul, 3 minutes remaining. Ryan Libby has cruised out front. He now has a 1.5 gap back to the 34 of Mike Rhino. Justin Collison made the pass on Nick Codner throughout this run for position number 3, but he is a full 6 seconds back. Riley Duncan's in 5th, 11.5 seconds back. Really not much for competition, as a lot of those drivers are nursing some damaged cars. We saw a bit of a battle between Libby and Rhino for much of this run, but it appears Rhino's car just wasn't as good in the long run. Libby was able to maintain his car, and he has really cruised out front. After he got the lead from Joey Stiers, he has set sail, and with the 2-minute bell sounding, it appears that at this point, if a caution comes out, they probably won't get the race started. So barring anything crazy happening, Ryan Libby is heading for victory lane.
Making it look easy here at Stafford Motor Speedway, the half mile in northern Connecticut. And there you see just Ryan Libby putting on a show, picking these lap drivers up, putting them back down. You can see he's moving in on the back bumper of the 16. That's actually going to be the 10th place driver, Quentin Carpenter, getting ready to put him a lap down. Pardon me, kind of riding in his tire tracks at this point. Doesn't have any pressure behind him, so not really going to turn the afterburners up too hard unless he absolutely has to. But Mike Rhino 2.5 seconds back. No real reason to press the issue if you don't need to. Justin Collison still running in that 3rd position. Nick Codner 4th. Riley Duncan holding on to the top 5 so far. But great racing. Once we got the green flag to stay out here for a couple of laps, we got 60 seconds left to go in the feature. Gonna probably be 3, maybe 4 laps to go, and we'll see the updated ticker there as soon as the driver crosses or as soon as the leader crosses the line with 3 to go. That'll get updated there on the top of your screen as 45 seconds on the clock. Ryan Libby coming out of turn number 4 does put that 10th place driver 1 lap down, so that's going to move 9 cars on the lead lap. Check that, 8 cars on the lead lap. 30 seconds left to go here, Denver.
Absolutely, this is it. The final countdown for this race. Ryan Libby, you can almost play the Jeopardy music now as the final seconds. This is going to probably be the final lap for Ryan Libby. He has really taken control of this race. We saw some cautions earlier. It was a little bit messy. It turned into a demo derby here at Stafford Motor Speedway. Some of the drivers weeded themselves out, and it came down to a battle between Mike Rhino and Ryan Libby, but Ryan Libby makes use of the long run. He is going to cruise to victory in the circuit breaker at Stafford. Mike Rhino is going to come home second, 2.5 seconds back after a strong and valiant performance to try to get the lead, but nothing doing. He will settle for second. Justin Collison, Nick Codner, Riley Duncan, your top 5 is Ricky Miller in true Ricky Miller style is almost going to wreck coming across the line. He's going to come home 7th, just behind Jason Goss. Campbell Delaney, Quentin Carpenter, and Mitchell Hutchings round out your top 10. 6 cars in the lead lap at the end of this one. That was quite the show, Paul. Nice to see some green flag racing at the end as Ryan Libby burns it down. A well-deserved win. He is going to soak up the moment. A big win for him.
Burning down the Jimmy Dean sausage car, and there you can see burning them down all the way back into turn number 4, and finally cuts the motor off. Mike Rhino finishes second. Justin Collison third. Codner 4th. Duncan 5th. There you see Jason Goss comes home 6th. Ricky Miller, Campbell Delaney, Quentin Carpenter, Mitchell Hutchings rounding out the top 10. Great racing towards the end of there, Denver.
Absolutely. It was nice to see some green flag racing at the end. I can't remember what the exact time was at, but I think we got probably 15 or 20 minutes of green flag racing at least, so that was good to see. We ran about 80 laps in total, 82 when the checker flag flew, so that's not bad. 35 minutes, 82 laps, but Ryan Libby was in control for this one, and he will come home the winner in the circuit breaker.
Got a kind of quick step through the post-race show because, the winner's got to go race the NEPS series, and we've got to go over and hook up all the wires in the production trailer. But, Ryan, you got a copy?
Yeah, I gotcha.
Great race, man. Congratulations on the win. Another win here for the Tim's Corner Motorsports Special Events. I believe this is your second win in this series, if I'm not mistaken. I might be mistaken.
Yep.
It is the second win. I knew what I was talking about. Great. We got... a little bit rough start, but you got that lead about halfway through the race and held on to it. A little bit of a battle there with Mike Rhino towards the end, or towards the middle of the race, but it looks like the 34 slipped back just a little bit. But talk to us about your race.
Yeah, we had fast time there. We got inverted to 5th, and I kind of figured at the beginning of the race is get what you can. When the tires start wearing out here, it's really hard to pass. It's Stafford's hard to pass to actually begin with fresh tires. So if you could get by with fresh tires, later on in the race when you have the used tires, it's really hard to get the car to cut underneath someone to actually get that run out of the corner and pass them. But we ended up getting the lead, and once I was out front, I kind of kept Mike in my rear window there, just kind of about a half second back. I didn't want to really wear my tires out too much, and kind of conserve, and then towards the end there, I says, all right, it's time to go. But it's a little weird racing against the clock than laps, because I don't know about you, but I got 2 hands on the wheel, and I can't go hit my F1 and F3 keys down the straightaway anymore. So it's a little tough to actually watch the clock and watch the laps versus just watching the laps.
Yeah, it was a little bit difficult for us to follow towards the end of it there, and it didn't really update until the final lap when we were going to end this race, but didn't really much matter. Had a heck of a lead towards the end of the run, and I know you got to get going here for the NEPS race. Who do you got to thank for the 46 car here, and what have you got for Irwindale coming up in a couple of minutes here?
First of all, Irwindale, I actually made it in here. I just got to get a few laps in so I can get myself acquainted to this car now. It's a little heavier car with a little more horsepower, so got to put a few laps in here. But I'm just got to thank, of course, Vidane TV and Tim Terry for you guys for putting this on and inviting me in the league. I have a lot of fun running this league, and got to give a shout out to my buddy at work, Troy. He's watching me right now, rooting for me, and hopefully my girlfriend's watching. I always send her the link, but I'm really not sure if she's watching, so hopefully she's watching too, and a few of the other guys at work also.
Absolutely, and a great run here at Stafford, and we know you got a race coming up here. We'll be over there shortly.
All right, I hope to talk to you again there.
Yeah, absolutely. And everybody watching at home, stay right on this stream. We're going to be picking up the coverage for the Shift Marketing and Design Grand National Series. 2 races to go in that championship, and we're staying right here on this stream. But Denver, I believe you've caught up with Mike Ryan, the second place finisher here this evening.
Yes, I have. Mike, good run for you tonight. You brought it home, position number 2. For a while there, you were really giving a challenge to the 46 of Ryan Libby, but you just seemed to fade some at the end. What more did you need to maybe get up there and take the win?
I think I just used it up a bit too early. I knew Ryan was the guy to beat coming in here tonight. He's fast everywhere he goes. It's just nice to get a podium. It's been a long time.
So early on in the race, we saw lots of yellows. It was a bit of a slow start. What was going through your head on those early laps when we were logging caution laps?
I was kind of hoping for a little bit of green. The cautions tend to mess up the way the race goes. Not saying it would have turned out any different, but it's nice to get some green in. I did use it up a bit early, and Ryan was driving away at the end. Good on him. Good race, though. I mean, we had a bit of green at the end, so not all bad.
Absolutely. It was a phenomenal run there to the end. Second place at the end of the night. Who made it happen? Who do you have to thank?
I got to thank all the guys over at Rev. Joey Stiers, he had a good run tonight. Led a bunch of laps. Ended up wrecked, I believe. But, good run. Thanks to Tim putting these on. Give us something to do. All you guys at Vidane. Hell of a job.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Ryan. Thanks, Mike. Great run tonight, and we'll catch you next time.
All right, we'll see you.
And real quickly, we'll talk to the third place finisher, Justin Collison. Justin, what the heck was in that spaghetti?
It was made with love from the girlfriend.
Great race. We saw you kind of hang on to the position about mid-pack or so for most of the race. Ended up in the top 3. Quickly walk us through how you got there.
Really, it was just a matter of patience, waiting for guys. A lot of guys were being pretty rambunctious there at the beginning, and I knew I didn't have anything for the top 2, so I was just going to hang on for a third-place finish and maybe hope there was a late rate caution or something.
So a great run in the top 3, finishing in the podium. Talking to us here at the end of the race. Who makes it happen for that 112 machine?
I got to thank all the real life sponsors, Air Crane Service, London Recreational Racing, Grey Bar Canada. I got to thank you guys for putting on this race and the broadcast. Definitely got to thank the old lady. She's at work right now watching this, and I definitely got to thank her for, the spaghetti and support my sim racing habits.
Absolutely. Great top 3 finish here tonight. And what do you got for Bristol Dirt on Tuesday? You going to be running that one?
Yeah, you might see me. What time does that start at?
It should be 7:30 Eastern, I think, to be announced, but probably around 7:30ish.
Yeah, you might see me. I don't know. I'm committed to another league that runs Tuesday nights, but we'll see. You might see me there.
Excellent. Great run here tonight.
Thanks very much, guys. I got to go spot now for Brandon Hawk in the Road to Pro Series.
Excellent. Well, good luck with that. And Tim, little rough start, but we got some racing in here, and looks like we're getting ready to hop the jet, head on over to Irwindale.
Yeah, I think Mike kind of hit the nail on the head when we talked to him. The format worked. We still got, I anticipated 75. We got 80 laps in. So I think everything worked on that end. It kind of did what it did. Congratulations to Ryan Libby this evening. Mike Rhino is probably going to get that showcase spot before long with the way he's running in the Oxford or the Nashville series. But we're going to hop the jet. We'll chat with you in just a few moments' time. Bristol Dirt is the next TCM event coming up here on Vidane. It is a doubleheader along with the Eastbound series. They're running the DC Auto 150 at Martinsville. Coming up next on Vidane TV, the Marhefka Motorsports 75. And we got something special for you, too. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Oh, yeah, it's NEPS night here in America. Welcome back, everybody, to Vidane TV, the NEPS Grand National Series brought to you by Shift Marketing and Design, the Marhefka Motorsports 75 here at Irwindale Speedway. Showtime Paul Strickland Jr. in the booth once again. Right next to me, Kyle Young is here. He just made it in just by the skates of his boots, and Tim Terry joining us as well. Tim, how are we doing tonight?
I'm looking forward to this. The Marhefka Motorsports 75, the penultimate round of this series. We've got some cool things going on here this evening. Some fast cars. 22 drivers have already taken time. And Wyatt Alexander is going to lead this field to green here momentarily.
Absolutely. Running a little bit different number up in the front there. It looks like an 09 car, and we got something very special here tonight. Kyle, just making it in, getting everything situated. I was keeping your seat warm here for you, brother. How you doing tonight?
Pretty good, Paul. Really excited for this race. Irwindale Speedway is my personal favorite short track here on the iRacing service, and I don't believe, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't believe that we have had a Vidane TV race at this racetrack yet, so very excited to get here.
Well, we had a figure 8 race way back when.
It doesn't count, not the Irwindale short track.
We had the outer oval before Christmas with TCM.
Alrighty then.
So stand yourself corrected.
Irwindale Speedway broadcast here on Vidane TV. Either way, super excited for this. It should be a really good show. Good league, good race. Like Tim said, some really cool stuff going on here tonight. I'm stoked.
Now you can already see some of these drivers up towards the front running a little bit different paint schemes, and you can see they're running different numbers as well. And it's kind of a tribute, so to speak, as you will. John Peters, the points leader right now, and defending champion of this series, Johnny Two Belts, as we've been calling him. His father Greg's been battling some health issues over the past couple of months, and it's kind of been a rough go of it. But the team main drivers wanted to do something a little bit special for GNG, Grand National Greg, as it were, and you can see those team main drivers moving up towards the front. There you can see the champ John Peters in the 09 car. John's running the 1984 late model that Greg Peters used to run back in the day. Very cool looking paint scheme, and it's very cool to see the mix of real racing and sim racing, and we'll kind of sift through some more of these main drivers. There you see right behind him, that's going to be going to take a look here, Evan Bollier, as it were, in the 56. Usually he's going to be running the 97 Super Sportsman, and there you can see he's in the 09 car as well. Very cool little tribute that we're having tonight. Wyatt Alexander, another team main driver, usually runs the 96. He's in the 09 tonight. He's in the 2001 Limited Sportsman machine. We've got Jason Ricker, usually runs the 9. There you see him in the 09. He's going to be running the 2007 Act late model. And the lone Canadian in the field, Brent Roy, usually runs the 26. He's in the 09 as well tonight. He's going to be running the 2008 Act late model that Greg ran back in 2008. So we wanted to give these drivers kind of extend the pace laps here, give these team main drivers an opportunity to show off those paint schemes, and kind of tip the hat to Grand National Greg. Big fan of the NEPS series, big fan here of Vidane TV. Man, we know you're going through some health problems right now, battling some issues, but it's a team sport, and with those team main drivers and with your son John Peters, you're not going to have a problem. You're going to be able to beat whatever you've got going on, and I can definitely guarantee that. And we hope you get well very, very soon. And we want you to stick around and watch these NEPS drivers. We got 2 races left to go here, boys, for this championship. John Peters going for the twofer. Ryan Libby in the second place, and Ryan Libby just coming off the victory at Stafford Motor Speedway about 10 minutes ago.
Yeah, that was a great show that Ryan Libby put on. Was able to go through the extended green flag run at the end of that race to take home the victory. But he was a little behind the 8 ball here in qualifying, Kyle. Qualified position number 8, but still plenty of laps to get it done. This is a 77 lap feature here this evening as the pace truck will peel off. And Wyatt Alexander on the pole. Chalou on the outside. Charles Lewandowski going to lead this field to green. Green flag in the hand of the starter. There it is. And Kyle, we are underway for the Marhefka Motorsports 75.
Green flag racing on the left coast. The field goes down into turns 1 and 2 for the first time. Clean and green down the back straightaway. The 09 machine going to have the advantage here going into turn number 3, trying to clear Lewandowski, and he will off at turn number 4. Lap number 1 is led by Wyatt Alexander.
field works by, for the most part, top 4, top 5 or so single file, and then we see some double file racing out and back. Kyle, you mentioned that this racetrack's one of your favorites. It's one of mine, too. The main thing for a lot of these drivers tonight is going to be keeping that right side clean. You get right up there. The groove is about half a lane up, closer to that wall. If you can get up there and you can make that outside work, you can do so, but don't get too close to that wall and get that thing all scraped up, especially with this ARCA car. Battle for 5th is the hottest battle on the racetrack. Ryan Libby's already on the move.
He is side by side with the 52 of Corey Casagrande, trying to crack his way inside of the top 5. Doesn't really have a lot of room to work with. Hang on, we're going to go 3 wide. Contact with Devin Marhefka. He slides, hangs on. Libby will take over the position from the 52. Marhefka drops way down to the bottom side. Libby's going to get around him. They're nearly 3 wide behind him, and now they'll single file out and go side by side right behind Libby for P5 once again.
It just goes to show when it happens here, it happens quick, and now Marhefka is side by side with Brent Roy in the 09 as they get it back to single file in behind Ryan Libby, and John Peters trying to right up ahead of them, behind them. That is the battle with Casagrande, Jason Ricker, and Evan Boyler. Still continues to be side by side, gets back to single file for that battle, but I think we're going to see a lot of that, almost 3 wide behind them.
You can shoot me down if you think I'm wrong here, Tim. I can handle it. But in a way, I like to make the similarity of this racetrack kind of to Homestead Miami Speedway. The preferred groove is right around that top side, but if you got the talent and you got the car to make it work, you can use these inner grooves. You're starting to see that just a little bit up here at the front of the field as we're side by side for position number 2. John Peters is using the bottom side of the track to make some momentum, and he's going to use the bottom line to clear Charles Lewandowski for position number 2, slide up into second place, and he's still running down there trying to get some momentum to close in on Wyatt Alexander.
Yeah, the top battle is pretty good, but single file as there's the 09 on your screen, and Wyatt Alexander continues to lead. Oh, little bobble from John Peters in the middle of 3 and 4, and that's the one thing that's kind of unique. You mentioned the similarity to Homestead. There's a seam right there, right around that hash mark, around this racetrack. It's not necessarily the apron, but there's a little bit of a seam there, and if you catch it the wrong way like John Peters just did, it knocks the handle out of the race car, knocks the stability out of it a little bit, and he lost about a half car length or so. Going to have to try to reel back in Wyatt Alexander, and not only does he have to be on the offense, he has to be on the defense as well, because Charles Lewandowski is right there.
Yeah, these top 5 group here still staying pretty tightly packed, not a lot of space. It's only a few car lengths in between your top 2, but really other than that, and about 5 car lengths back between Ryan Libby and Devin Marhefka, everybody is still pretty much tightly packed, bumper to bumper, going around this half-mile short track here. Everybody's still playing pretty nice, single file around the top side, just logging some laps, trying to experiment a little bit. You're seeing some of the guys running right down, putting the left side tires on the dash line. Some of them, like Ryan Libby, putting that right side right up against the outside wall. So very narrow racing groove at the moment right now, but they're still finding a way to make it 2 lanes wide.
And up in front, it looks like they've kind of found that place to race. Evan Boyler on your screen right now in the 09, running in position number 8. And the respect level that we see out of these drivers, nice little speed shot there from the start-finish line. There's a lot of respect between these drivers. They race each other every single week with these race cars. They know each other, and I think they've kind of found a place content to ride it. It's a little different. Oh, as Lewandowski sideways off of turn 4 allows Libby to go to the outside to pick up one more. Charles Lewandowski, though, great save in that 0-1 car, and the battle for the lead starts to get close. But the one thing that we can kind of take from the parallels between the first race that we saw, Kyle, here at Stafford with TCM, and the second race that we see here, the first race, open race, everybody can kind of come in. Some of those drivers don't necessarily run with each other on a regular basis. These guys do, and you're going to see that respect level really come through as here goes John Peters, taking that look to the inside one more time.
He used that lane to move into second. Now he's going to try to use it to take the race lead. A great runoff at turn number 4, and he makes it look easy. Clears Wyatt Alexander for the top spot, comes back up the track, and will lead his first lap of the night. Now Wyatt Alexander is under attack from the 46 of Ryan Libby. Libby's got a little bit of space to the outside, but he gets into the wall and is stuck there. Libby's stuck into the outside wall, trying not to yank that car off and cause a problem. He will keep it buried in the wall, lets the majority of the field goes by, and he is now separated and will rejoin at the back of the pack. So a big mistake there for the 46 of Ryan Libby. He goes all the way back to position number 13.
He is a 5-time winner this season and won earlier tonight, and now he's got his work definitely cut out for him. There's Zaney on the inside. Anthony Aiello, I believe that might be on the outside in the 3 as they go at it for a position, middle of this pack. Continuing to stay green. I'm impressed with the move that John Peters was able to make on Wyatt Alexander, and I don't know if Wyatt might be saving something up in front, Kyle. It looked like he let him have it a little bit easy. John had that power move to the inside. Call it what you will, but this race, and I don't want to jinx it because I did a little bit of that on Tuesday night during the Coke broadcast, this has a green flag feel to it. We're going to be 20 laps in this time by, 77 laps to complete this one, and there it goes.
There it is.
Thanks, Sal.
The commentator's curse comes back for Tim and Terry. Caution flag number 1 on the speedway, quickly trying to survey the racetrack and see what it is. I know at least for myself, I don't quite see, could it possibly? Yes, it was the 14 machine. Zane Farrell goes for a solo spin going into turn number 3 there. You would think that he would have been far enough off of the racetrack for the yellow not to come out there, Paul, but race officials deciding that wasn't the case, and we go caution for the first time tonight.
Yeah, I'm going to pull up the Kong Beer Bong instant replay. A little bit of side-by-side action between Zaney and the number 3 there. You'll see it here on your screen as we give it to you. You can see dips down low and little bit of contact, not much. Kind of overcorrects it just a little bit. Had it. Spun out. Doesn't look like he hits anything. And we can fire that camera guy because he didn't point over where we needed him to point. But there you can see he almost had it, and he kind of loses it just a little bit. Does a great job getting that thing stopped, and doesn't stop for too long. Grabs a gear, gets it going again. Doesn't hit anything, doesn't damage anything, doesn't bend any sheet metal. Just kind of tears the tires up on the bottom side of that race car. But going to be tough to try and work his way up through the field here. He's going to have to restart in the back of the pack. Looks like all 22 drivers still on the lead lap here at Irwindale Speedway.
Kyle, we have an early caution flag on lap number 20, and just looking down here, there's one set of tires for each of these drivers sitting in the pits. They also have one quick repair. So I anticipate this race to have some sort of strategy in it throughout. We see most of these races come down to, a late race caution with like 25 laps to go, 20 laps to go, and that's really where the strategy comes in. But I don't think nobody in the front right now is coming down pit road to try to undercut or throw some sort of Hail Mary early, anticipating track position.
Yeah, we got a couple cars down on pit road right now, and as you mentioned, nobody on the front portion of the field. Dale Glessner in the 10 is down on pit road, and the 44 of Scott McDonald. Those are the only 2 cars that are seeing service right now. It's interesting how this league works when it comes to pit strategy. These races usually only about the distance that we're running, 75 to 77 laps or so for these events. So it really doesn't put you in a position to really make a lot of strategic calls on pit road. You kind of have to figure out what you're going to do very quickly because you don't have a lot of time. 75 laps at a short track usually clicks off very quickly, and we only have an extra 2 laps tonight, but running at 18, 19 second lap times, that's virtually nothing in comparison to what usually happens here in this series.
Yeah, these are going to click away fairly quickly as John Peters going to lead this field to green. He has chosen the outside line in the 0-9. The other 0-9 on the inside is Wyatt Alexander as they come out of corner number 4, hammer down, green flag flies. And now this is where we're going to start to see those 2 and maybe some 3 wide, I don't want to say daring moves, Kyle, because it's still early in the race. These guys know there's plenty of laps left to go, just over 50 to go, but everybody's bunched up on the restart. You got to get what you can get, right?
Oh, absolutely, and you're starting to see some of that battling going on here just out inside the top 5, the 26 machine of Brent Roy. He's making some moves down on the bottom side of that racetrack, trying to gain some positions. It's working out for him. Maybe he learned a thing or two watching John Peters make the passes, and he is up into position number 5, challenging Charles Lewandowski for the 4th position. Side-by-side battle going on behind him with Evan Bullier and Corey Casagrande. This is where the benefits of this racetrack come in, Tim. You got that preferred line on the top side, so much space down on the bottom, plenty of room to race with, and the 09 machine of Brent Roy is making it work. Now look at Lewandowski with a crossover. He wants to try the bottom side for himself.
And almost tried to clear Brent Roy coming off at turn 4 and was not there, and that's a veteran move out of the 01 of Charles Lewandowski to not come up and complete that move, but he opened the door for the 52 of Casagrande, and now in behind him, Evan Boiler, and there's Ryan Libby, and Lewandowski may be going backwards here a couple more positions. The 46 has stuck that nose to the outside, and Lewandowski going to try to go deep and try to pick up a spot up the track, and that's not going to work. 2 around, Ryan Libby being one of them. Yellow flag will fly.
Tried to go for the aggressive dirt track style slide job, and it did well. Actually, no, it didn't really work it didn't work for him, but there was contact between a couple cars there before he even got there. I think Evan Bollier may have gotten into the wall, then Ryan Libby got into the back of him, and those cars went for a spin coming off of turn 2.
Another opportunity to take a look at the Kong Beer Bong instant replay, and we'll give it to you in a little bit of slow motion action. We're going to focus in on that number 46 car of Ryan Libby. There you can see behind the 09 and on top of or up high on the 01, and you can see scraped the wall earlier, so car may not be handling as well as it was at the very beginning of the race, but there you can see the 09 getting into the wall, scraping it a bit, and nowhere for Libby to go. He gets spun around down to the infield, does a great job getting that thing woed up, doesn't hit the tires of the inside pit wall or anything like that, and looks like everybody else is able to keep the car pointed in the right direction. So quick little break here, quick little hiccup on lap number 31, but really no harm, no foul for any of these drivers.
You know, overall, you'd say, Kyle, if this was one race, it hasn't been Libby's night. He just came off a win at Stafford, a dominating win at Stafford on our early show, I guess, on Vidane TV for the TCM Circuit Breaker. But this race hasn't been his night. He kind of mentioned about the lack of practice with this race car on this racetrack, because he lost a lot of that practice going over and racing the Super, and it's a heavier race car, but at the end of the day, these drivers have raced this car for all season long on some different short tracks, but it's just circumstance. I think at this point, taking the 46 car and having him towards the back of the pack with some of these incidents, he's going to have to work his way up. The good news is that Ryan's got a ton of talent, and he's got laps to do it.
Yeah, and he had already started to work his way up through the field prior to that spin there. He got into that outside wall, lost a ton of time, and was just about back to the top 5 by the time that happened. So Ryan Libby definitely has the pace. We know how strong he is as a competitor, and he's showing it once again here tonight. So he's coming off a pit road right now. As mentioned, he'll have to do it at the back of the field, but we're just a few laps shy of the halfway mark, so he should have plenty of time to make work of the field and get back up for an opportunity at a competitive and respectful finish. He just has to make sure that he is patient in doing so, doesn't catch himself up into more trouble from this point on.
44 laps to go here. We should get the lights off the pace truck, and we should be going green next time by. The one driver that I kind of want to keep an eye on in this restart is the 09 sitting on outside of row number 2, and that is Brent Roy, with John Peters choosing that outside. He may have an opportunity to pick up one, at least on Marhefka, and maybe battle with his teammate and teammate on Wyatt Alexander. And, you know, this is the best we've seen him run in a while. He might have to ask Grand National Greg if he can keep those colors on that 26 car for next week at the season finale if this continues on. Green flag flies. We are back underway, and John Peters on the hammer. Top 2 get single file, and Kyle, that battle is for position number 3.
Great stuff going on for third place. You got Brent Roy on the top side, Devin Marhefka down on the bottom in the 22 machine, getting right down to the white line, but that battle will come to a close as the caution flag is out for the third time. We got some cars with some torn up sheet metal. You can see the 14 there of Zane Farrell's involved, the 78, or the 70, yeah, that is the 78 there of Michael Hopkins. I see the zero machine of Matt Shinowski's got some damage on his ride, so a few cars getting tangled up here, and oh boy, getting a quick glimpse of that one, Paul. We had more than a few cars get caught up in that one.
Big bada boom. A lot of drivers involved here. We're actually going to take a look at this one from the blimp here at Irwindale Speedway, and we're going to do it a little bit slow motion here so we can try and capture all the information and all the action here. But you can take a look, focus in on the 14. We know he was definitely involved. See if we can see where this starts. I'm looking right here. The 76 Matt Kenfield, the 61 is around. The 3 gets involved, Hopkins, and the 78 gets involved. The 31 gets a piece of it. There you see the 7, the 10, the 0 of Shinowski. 44 skates on by, but blocking the entire racetrack here. 5 wide wrecking, and still going through. And there you can see Ryan Libby trying to pick a lane in that 46 car. He gets by scot-free. So good heads-up driving there from Ryan Libby, and tough break for a lot of these drivers in the back, and we can see a lot of them already dipping down pit road. So a tough break for a lot of these guys running mid-pack.
Yeah, this is their opportunity, and we're at about that halfway point, Kyle, that they can come down and maybe get tires. And if they don't have damage, to maybe undercut those guys in front if there is an opportunity where John Peters, Wyatt Alexander, Brett Roy, and the likes decide to come down onto pit road. Roy is scored in third, got that spot from Marhefka when the yellow flag flew, albeit there wasn't a whole lot of time, but just enough momentum on that outside line to get the 22 at the scoring loop to take third, and Charles Lewandowski in position number 5. Chalu has been making some moves tonight. Wouldn't surprise me in the slightest to see him up here in the top 3 before this thing is all said and done.
Yeah, he has been very racy in the first half of this event. He's had to defend some position at moments and has not been afraid to move around the track to try to figure out what works for that 0-1 machine. So he should be a very fun one to watch in this second half to see if maybe he can challenge John Peters and try to steal away some of the glory. You know, it just seems that John Peters has things figured out with this series. And as we close in on the finish of this season, things are going to change quite dramatically, Tim. Not sure if you've got to look at it yourself, but when we come back racing in this series in the fall, we're not doing it in these ARCA cars. We're going to Xfinity racing next time around.
Yeah, it's going to be the Xfinity car, and I know Paul had mentioned as well that the road racing series with the sports cars, and I don't have an exact name on that. I'm sure you guys can correct me on it, but I know you guys have a car in that series. So I'm excited to see what you guys can do on Monday evenings once a month when we go road racing. But speaking of racing, we're getting ready to see the green flag one more time. We'll complete 40 laps right here. Green flag flies, and John Peters back on the hammer. Wyatt Alexander, Brett Roy, your top 3, and Roy under fire from Devin Marhefka. You know, he goes deep into turn number 2, trying to pick up second.
Yeah, Brent Roy not at all afraid to use that bottom side of the track. He kind of uses a bit of a delayed entry in there. He enters in the middle, then gets right down on that line coming through the center to try to get some momentum coming off, and it's just not going to work out for him this time. Devin Marhefka is a little stronger, but he does have a hole right behind the 22. He will fill that and try to regather. Side by side going on a few cars behind these two as Charles Lewandowski and Evan Bollier are battling for position number 6. Looks like Bollier is going to take that position over and is now looking to the outside of, is that Jason Ricker right in front of him trying to take position there? It is. So some good stuff here off this restart.
How about the run by Jason Ricker tonight? Usually see him near the end of the races really pouring it on, but now we're in the mid stages and we're starting to see that 09 car come towards the front of the field. Evan Boiler was kind of involved in one of those earlier yellow flags, had to take evasive action to get by Kyle, but he's up here battling for a top 5 run, and they're putting on a show for Grand National, Greg, because right now I believe out of the top 6, 5 of those are the 09 cars sporting the throwback schemes.
And you got a few of them lined up with each other as well. And look who's right behind these throwback cars. That's the 46 of Ryan Libby. He has wasted 0 time in getting back into the top 10, and now he's starting to knock on the door for a top 5 here. As we have 32 laps of racing left to go, he's watching the side-by-side battle going on in front of him. Looks like Bollier is going to get the advantage. He's going to rip the lip right around the outside of Jason Ricker, makes quick work of him, and now has his sights set on Bollier for the top 5 spot.
Yeah, he is flying through this field. Aiello around, no yellow flag. We stay green as the 46 continues to try to make this battle his own. And a little contact, that's going to send Boiler around, and that is not going to cause it. There it is, yellow flag is out.
Slight little contact. He was almost able to save it, but just couldn't quite make it happen. A very lazy spin there for the 09 of Evan Bollier. Was able to do a good job of getting the car stopped before he nose it into the inside jersey barrier there, Paul. But obviously not at all what he was looking to do there with less than 30 laps to go.
No, it's going to be a rough go of it with 30 laps to go here at Irwindale, but we can take a look at the Bollier machine, and he's dipping down low on Ricker, doesn't quite have enough there, and we can see the contact, just a little bit of contact, the slightest nudge from Libby in the 46 car, and you can see just not even enough to hit a second time, but Bollier does a great job getting that thing wound up before. You can see the hands going back and forth on the steering wheel there, does a great job getting that thing stopped before he hits that those concrete jersey barriers down there at the end of pit road. So backs it up, grabs a gear. He's going to spin the tires up, get that thing pointed in the right direction. Going to be a long way to go. Still all 22 drivers on the lead lap here. So some great racing at Irwindale.
It's still plenty of laps to get this thing done for Evan to come from the back of the field, and but we're slowly running out of time, Kyle. And with this race having the track position and some of the games that we've seen earlier, we're starting to see some comers and goers. Brandon Marhefka's in the top 10. Give a shout out to Matt Shinosky as well. He was digging on the inside line on that restart, currently sitting in position number 10. So he's been making some positions up from 19th. Dale Glessner up from 22nd to 11th. So there's some drivers that are starting to make their way up through the field, but they are slowly running out of time. They'll have 27 laps to go this time.
And you can see the battle wounds on the front end of that Zero machine that Matt Shinosky's had to deal with in order to do that. So doesn't look too terrible. Of course, with it being a short track, aerodynamics not a factor here. So the buckled up hood, not really going to be a problem with him as long as it doesn't fly up over the windshield. So it'll be fun to see what that car can do for these final runs here in this event. It's really been dominated by John Peters throughout the most part. Really not much of a surprise there. Trying to lock up back-to-back championships in this season. Of course, sporting one of the throwback paint schemes to his father. If he is able to pull this one off, Tim, it'll be interesting to see what his thoughts are in Victory and how special of a race that this is going to mean for him. He's gotten wins in the series. He's a champion. He's won on Vidane TV, but this is kind of a little extra... a few extra sprinkles on the top of the Sunday this time by if you can get it done.
Absolutely, and he's going to have to hold off some familiar paint schemes, I'm sure, to him, and familiar faces in the team main area of things with Wyatt Alexander and Brent Roy and Jason Rickers up here in the top 5. Devin Marhefka trying to spoil their party, but we'll see what transpires here as Peters is the control car. We'll come at corner number 4 and get ready to see the green. There it is. We are back underway. And quickly to the outside, Brent Roy again was on that outside line. We're going to have a battle for third, but look where Ryan Libby is to the back bumper of Brent Roy. Libby is coming.
Ryan Libby putting the aggression on here, trying to recover from some earlier race incidents. He's ripping right around the top side. Oh, one car into the outside wall. That was the 01 of Charles Lewandowski. He keeps it straight, 3 wide, though, with that 01 machine. He'll lose the battle, loses it to Shinosky and the 13 machine of Brandon Marhefka. Dale Glessner also putting some pressure on the 01 car. Great stuff going on here mid-pack.
Yeah, great racing. There's the 13 of Marhefka to the inside. Lewandowski trying to make it happen as they come by this time by 55 laps being worked on the board. Battle for position number 2. Shinosky is in the fence. He's going to lose a ton of time. There's Zane Farrell going to the inside. Oh, that's not going to work. Little pushing, little shoving. They're still trying to save it down into corner number 3. And somehow we haven't really wrecked the race car yet, Kyle. I think we're still all somewhat straight.
Big moment there for Matt Shinosky. Got booted around there like he was inside of a boxing ring, and now that Zero machine looks much more worse than it did on the previous restart there, and he's going to bring to the attention of his crew a little too beat up for him to want to continue on. Watching Ryan Libby here in position number 3, trying to take over the runner-up from the 96 of Wyatt Alexander, and if you're John Peters looking back at the leaderboard, you have to start getting a little bit concerned that Ryan Libby is charging through the field. He has to know he's on fresher rubber. He is making his charge, and he is underneath of Wyatt Alexander for P2.
And if you're Wyatt Alexander, if you're John Peters, you're Wyatt Alexander's biggest fan because you're going to try to put up a fight as you did there through 1 and 2. Try to make sure that he doesn't get by you. And if you use that inside line, Kyle, going to get your tires a little bit upset. You're going to use your tires a little bit more. If you're Wyatt Alexander, this is probably the smartest move that you can do. Not only trying to maintain that position, but try to get Ryan Libby to use up maybe a little bit more than he wants to because this, caution is out. I was going to say this isn't the position that Ryan Libby wants. And it might not be the one he wants on the restart either because he'll restart third.
Trouble for the 76 machine of Matt Kenfield. He has spun around sideways coming off of turn number 2. It looks like he got collected up with Scott McDonald and Brandon Uhouse. Those 3 cars making contact and meeting up against the outside wall. And then Kenfield kind of slides down into the grass.
Take a look at the Kong Beer Bong instant replay. There you can see we're going to focus in on that 76 of Matt Kenfield. A little bit loose coming into the corner there and kind of loses the back end and then gets a little bit of assistance there from the Little Trees number 61 and the other car up on the outside there. And we made mention just kind of down here tearing up the grass a little bit, pissing off the landscapers, but doesn't hit anything down on the inside of the racetrack. So he's going to grab a gear, get that thing pointed in the right direction, and there's a good shot of the damage on the right front of that car. A little bit of crinkled up left rear as well. So damage almost all the way around the number 76 machine of Matt Kenfield. And still taking a look. 22 drivers still in this race. Matt Chinoski in the 0 after that ping pong match there. He's going to get the wave by. All 22 cars still on the lead lap.
And we've only got 16 laps to get it done. And this is going to be an interesting restart because you would assume that John Peters is going to take the outside when we go back to green. We'll have about 15 laps to go when we do so. That'll put the Ryan Libby machine to the inside behind the second place car of Wyatt Alexander, put Brett Roy to the outside. If you're Ryan Libby, I think you're just a skosh quicker than probably these two ahead of you. You got those fresher tires, as you mentioned, Kyle. But now you're kind of boxed in behind. How big of a restart can John Peters get here, and how big of an advantage can he build in a final, what could be 15-lap dash to the finish under green?
And I think in a way, Tim, that this caution flag actually benefits Ryan Libby a little bit. You had mentioned that during that side-by-side battle with Wyatt Alexander, running the inside line there, that he's wearing out his tires a little bit more, putting more pressure on them, using them up a lot more than what he would be if he was single file. Now, he was doing the best that he could to stay above that dashed white line, to not get down all the way towards the apron and really use those tires up. But by running under caution here, he loses some opportunity, loses some laps, yes, but he also saves those tires a little bit. These are laps that he doesn't have to worry about burning up the tires. So maybe when we do go green flag here, maybe he can afford to be a little bit more aggressive, get further down the racetrack, and try to see if he can get around these two by using those bottom lines.
They'll come by this time. We should have the lights off atop the pace car. The only thing that, if I'm John Peters, I'm in the same Discord channel as Brent Roy. I've got communication to him. If I'm John Peters, I don't want to count down the restart for the 09 to the inside of Wyatt Alexander, but I kind of want Brent Roy to stick with me, because if he can, there's no way Ryan Libby can go to the outside to battle with Wyatt Alexander. He's going to have to go to the inside, and we saw how much that inside line eats up not only tires but also time to get there. Peters trying to bait that 09 of Alexander. There he goes. Green flag flies. Keep an eye on the battle for what is position number 3 and could be a battle for second. Brent Roy has it. Ryan Libby down to the inside, wants to take it away from Alexander.
Side by side for position number 3, continuing on. Libby with the nose ahead going into turn 3, but Brent Roy trying to fight his way on the outside. Don't count out Devin Marhefka just yet. He's trying to make the very bottom work. Wasn't able to get around Jason Rickard there in one of the 09 cars, so he'll fall back in line, and he gets a front row seat to watch this go on with Libby and Roy. Still side by side, neither one giving an inch. John Peters about half a second ahead of Wyatt Alexander, who's trying to keep the 46 at bay, but he's peeking to the inside of his 09 machine as he's battling with the 09 of Brent Roy.
And if I'm the 46, Olivia, I gotta go. Do you use up the guy on the outside of you a little bit to try to get that clean air and try to get that outside line to catch John Peters? You got to do something here. 10 laps to go, coming to 10, almost got in to Wyatt Alexander. May be able to clear him here if he drives it in deep. He does so, and Alexander back at him and gets into the 46. Oh boy, I'm flabbergasted. Yeah.
Well, I think you got the message sent there about how Wyatt Alexander felt about that door contact with the 46, and that is going to all but eliminate Ryan Libby's opportunity to try to steal this win away from John Peters. Paul, you got a fun one to talk us through this time.
Well, there's really no words for this one. We can we'll show you the replay. We'll show you what happened, but we're gonna take a look. The 09 up on the high side. That's Wyatt Alexander. Ryan Libby down low in the 46 car, and you can see Wyatt Alexander gets just a little bit of a tap there, but that's really all you need here at Irwindale, especially with that that sticky outside wall. There you can see, I believe that's Brent Roy possibly in that particular 09 car, but just bouncing off the outside wall, and Libby was there earlier on in the race in that outside wall, scraped it a little bit. It took a long time to get that car off of pit road, or off of the wall there, and by the time he did, it took him along about half the race to get up towards the front of the pack again, and there you can see kind of not happy, maybe yelling at the steering wheel at that point. But that's a tough break. It's going to eliminate Libby from the win here tonight, and potentially the championship. We've only got one race left over next week, so just going to have to go out there and try and win the race.
Yeah, the championship-wise, he was 40 points back or 50 points back coming in. So chances were John Peters pretty much has this wrapped up championship-wise. That's just a little salt in the wound. He's not going to be able to go back-to-back at least tonight on Vidane TV after winning earlier. And to the other side of the point, Kyle, Wyatt Alexander doesn't race that way. He's a clean driver. He's probably the first, and he's probably apologetic. I can't hear the voice chatter in the session, but I'm sure he's apologetic. But I don't... Looking back on hindsight, he's probably going to go back and say, I don't know how that move was going to work, but he was carrying way too much speed going down to the corner. He wanted that second place spot bad.
Yeah, he wanted to try to fight back and just didn't execute it the proper way that he should have, and made some contact and took himself out of contention to win the race, took Ryan Libby out as well, and sadly enough, the 09 machine there of Brent Roy also got involved. He had a really, really strong night going tonight, been inside the top 5 for most of it, and now he's got to restart outside the top 10 even, and only has a few laps left to try to make up positions and try to salvage a good night out of this one. So now we got some new contenders towards the front row here. You got Jason Ricker, who is going to join John Peters on row number 1, and then you have the Marhefka brothers, Devin and Brandon, in row number 2. How about Zane Farrell back into position number 5 after getting caught up in a pretty big crash earlier on in this race, used his fast repair, and he has stayed out of trouble working his way back through the field. He's got an opportunity to steal a podium away, and then you got Corey Casagrande on his outside in position 6.
And you look at some of these players that are up here, there's some drivers that are standing to get a really good finish out of this one. 4 laps to go on this restart. Green flag flies, and the Marhefka Motorsport 75 going to come down to a 4-lap dash. And Marhefka to the outside, Brandon Marhefka trying to take second away from Ricker. John Peters able to get a great jump on that one. And where did Zane Farrell come from? Zaney was the first caution this evening, Kyle. He's battling for a top 5 spot.
Oh, big slide job and a crossover move for Jason Ricker on Brandon Marhefka. Marhefka turns down to the inside. They are side by side for position number 2. And while they battle, they just watch that 09 of John Peters run away with it. Ricker will hold off Marhefka for P2. Now the Marhefka brothers will go side by side. Look at Farrell. Whoa, we got a car stopped in the racetrack. He's going to get down to the inside, clears the way. Everybody gets on by, but that was a close one.
I believe that might have been Charles Lewandowski. He falls 1 lap down, but in behind we got a big wreck. It's the 7 of Kyle Casagrande. That's the yellow.
Kyle Casagrande gets turned around in the center of turns 1 and 2, and he's going to bring some friends along with him. The 78 of Mike Hopkins is involved. Evan Bullier gets a piece of it. I think Brent Roy, Anthony Aiello, a whole bunch of cars getting torn up and smashed up here in turns 1 and 2, just 1 lap shy from the end of it.
Yeah, we're going to take another look here at the Kong Beer Bong instant replay, and we'll be able to see the 01 of Charles Lewandowski. I don't think he was involved in this, but there you can see barely skates around after the leaders get on by. We're going to focus in on that number 7 Skull Machine of Kyle Casagrande. It looks like he got the brunt of it, and there you can see he actually started it. Lost the back end of the race car. Didn't look like there was any contact there. See if we can back that up once again and do a little slow motion action if we can. And just it looks like he lost the back end. There you can see it. Might have hit the brakes a little bit, so he didn't get into the back of the 14 of Zane Farrell, but really brought the back end of that race car around. There you can see one of the 09s is involved. 2 of the 09s is involved. There's the 31 of Aiello. Austin Bolke gets a piece of it there in the 24 machine. So a lot of there's Libby barely. Looks like he got a little piece of it there. As he gets up into Kentfield in the 76. There's sheet metal flying all over the place off of these race cars. There you see Shinosky in the 0 making an appearance in this wreck. Looks like he gets through this one scot-free, so that's good news there. But there you can see the 78 of Hopkins backing up onto the racetrack. And a lot of damaged race cars towards the back of the pack. Brent Roy got a piece of it as well. So sets up a green-white checker. Be a very exciting finish here.
And it'll be the only green-white checker that we'll have here this evening, so they'll have to settle it on this one. And it's changed around a couple of drivers near the front of this field, but Jason Ricker has an advantage now to kind of breathe. He was involved in a battle between Devin and Brandon Marhefka and Zane Farrell. I think this is John Peters' race to lose, Kyle, after the race that he's had so far. But I think we're going to have a fight for second before this thing is all said and done.
Yeah, one final restart for John Peters to cap it all off, a dominating performance once again. But yeah, I think the real race is going to be for position number 2. Those guys were going at it on that short green flag run, and it was fun to watch there. Jason Ricker, he will restart in second. It'll be Devin Marhefka third, Brandon Marhefka fourth, and Zane Farrell in position number 5. So they're going to line up pretty much exactly the way that they did on the previous restart. But if you didn't catch that green flag run, you wouldn't realize the story that it was. Despite the similar lineup, we're going to go side by side here, have one attempt at a green-white checkered finish. So this will be the final restart that we know for sure. If we can complete the first lap, we'll go all the way to the checkered flag, but if the caution comes out on the first lap, the race will be finished. You got John Peters on the outside, Jason Ricker on the inside. Who will win here at Irwindale?
Marhefka, row number 2, Farrell and Corey Casagrande, row number 3. And look at Peters. Green flag flies, able to get that jump. And Marhefka goes to the outside. Brandon Marhefka, barely there, was able to take that advantage, and now he battles for second. And Kyle, he's got the preferred groove.
He sure does. He's got the advantage going down the back straightaway, trying to edge out in front of Jason Ricker. Ricker knows he has to use that bottom side, trying to use it to his advantage, but the momentum coming off of the turn will give to Brandon Marhefka. A few cars are smashing it up in the back of the field, but we're on the white flag lap. We're going straight to the checker.
Down the back straightaway for the final time, and it's all John Peters up in front. He's going to take that Grand National Greg 09 to victory lane. Out of 4, checkered flag is up, and it's going to be John Peters taking the victory at Irwindale, and pretty much locks up this championship for him as well, Kyle. It's been a great season for the 51, and in behind, we had a battle, and both Marhefkas are going to finish on the podium.
They had to represent for the race that they were sponsoring, and they did just that. They'll finish in positions 2 and 3. Jason Ricker, I believe this is a best run for him this season, a 4th place finish. Corey Casagrande completes your top 5. Zane Farrell slips back just a skosh there on that green-white checker finish, and he finishes in 6th. How about this one, Tim? Ryan Libby, 7th place after the late race incident with Wyatt Alexander. Dylan Kopech is 8th, Matt Kenfield is 9th, and Evan Bullier will round out your top 10 tonight.
As John Peters lights it up, Brent Roy, Jeffrey Brown, Mike Hopkins, Matt Shinosky, Kyle Casagrande, Brandon Uhouse, Wyatt Alexander, Austin Bolke, Scott McDonald, Charles Lewandowski among those on the lead lap, Anthony Aiello 5 laps down, and Dale Glessner completes your field 19 back. So that is your finishing order for the Marhefka Motorsports 75. One race to go now in this series before we close it all off. And Kyle, I believe you have caught up with one or both of the Marhefkas.
Yeah, we'll start down here with the 22 machine of Devin Marhefka. Devin, great run for you and for Brandon tonight. You guys put up the sponsorship dollars. You knew that the pressure was on, and you rose to it with podium finishes for both of you guys. What was it like out on the racetrack here tonight?
I love this track. I mean, there's only a couple tracks on the service where you gotta run the top at a short track, and this track is just so much fun.
It really put on a great show tonight. Talk about the variables that this racetrack produces. The outside groove is obviously the preferred place to be, but we saw drivers, including yourself, flirt with those inside lines, and you were able to make passes down there.
Yeah, the inside doesn't really work in 1 and 2, but in 3 and 4, if you can hit it right, it is actually a little bit quicker, but it's tough to hit. It's really hard to hit. I've only ever hit it right a couple times.
So we have one race left to go here in this schedule. Of course, unfortunately, you are not part of the championship battle in this series this season, but a good run towards the end of the season. How important is it for you to be successful and end this season out on a good note?
Well, more importantly, I ran well on the night. Brandon and I sponsored, Marhefka Motorsports sponsored, so that's probably the coolest part of the season. Yeah, it stinks not being in the championship battle, but this is a lot of fun, and I just enjoy coming and talking to the guys more than anything.
Well, you definitely seem to be fired up and pleased with the run tonight. Who would you like to thank for the 3rd place finish?
Well, I'd like to thank my brother, my dad, my mom, everyone that works on the race car in real life. We have 2 cars, and it's a lot to maintain, but we have a lot of people that really, really help us out, and we couldn't do it without them. I'd like to thank the Clarks, Allied Milk, Memorial Highway Chevrolet, and a couple other people. Everyone that helps us on the real-life cars, now that this season's coming to an end, just thank you very much.
That is third place finisher Devin Marhefka, a very happy and a very positive Devin Marhefka. Tim, you've caught up with the other half of Marhefka Motorsports here in position number 2. Let's see how happy he is with his run.
I think he will be. We'll catch up with Brandon Marhefka, position number 2. And Brandon, you ran most of this race in the top 10, and a couple of incidents in front of you. One of them with the Ryan Libby, Brent Roy wreck. What was going through your mind the middle of the race, having to get up here and trying to take away this finish in the race that has your name on it?
Yeah, I dropped back a little bit, but then once I saw that, I was doing a lot better on the top, I just figured I'd try and stay up there. But once I saw them wrecking, I'm not going to lie, I wasn't sure I was going to make it through it, but I found a hole and I was able to make it through. So got lucky with that one. But, it was definitely a very fun race running up there against the boards.
Green-white checker finish coming to the end. Jason Ricker ahead of you. He wanted a good finish. He hasn't been on the podium here in a few weeks on Verdane TV. Set yourself up on that green-white checker. What was going through your mind in those final couple laps?
Yeah, we got that green-white checker. I'm like, oh, well, last restart I did pretty good, but then we got into 3, and Jason, he had a heck of a save. But once we got that last green-white checkered, I'm like, if I time this restart perfect on Peters, I'll be able to get around him and get that upper groove that I liked. So I made sure I was able to stay on Peters' tail and get up front, and eventually made the pass in 1 and 2. But yeah, I was just trying to hit my marks there at the end.
One spot away from that win. We got one more race left to go at Dover next week. Can we get that victory, move up one more spot?
I don't know, but it definitely, it's never a doubt, but, it's kind of one of those things that we practiced a little bit, for this one, just because we sponsored it. And it was definitely nice to have a run like this, but I think this, my next best finish would have been 6th place. So this is definitely a treat, but that first place, Peters is quite hard to catch. So I was pretty happy to be within a car length of him there at the end.
So with this podium run, how much celebrating are you going to do tonight?
Oh, I'm up at school by myself, but I'm going to go eat some tacos for dinner because I still haven't ate dinner. It's got out Classic came here, so I'm going to go celebrate with some tacos and chocolate milk.
That's a Paul Strickland celebration. I can hear him already in our ear in the production trailer. Sponsorship on this race car, crew, who makes it happen for you?
My mom and my dad and my brother, they all help out at the shop. And, all the guys back home that helped me on the race cars, I can't thank them enough. Memorial Highway Chevrolet, the Clarks and Allied Milk Producers, and Edge Racing Engines, they all fund my racing career at Jennerstown. So I just like to shout them out and, give a big thanks to them because they make it happen in real life.
There you go, Brandon Marhefka, second place here this evening in the Marhefka Motorsports 75. And I look down there, Kyle, and I see John Peters is still talking to Tommy and those guys at Low Budget and still not here. It's like when he won at was at the road course and was talking to the French media, but I think he's finally pulled away, and I think you have him in victory lane.
That I do, down here with the man of the hour, the man that just continues to find success here in the New England, Pennsylvania Shift Marketing and Design Granite National Series. John Peters, yet another victory here tonight at the Irwindale Speedway. I'd like to talk about your drive up to the front of the field first. It seems like you were one of the few guys that were able to make the bottom side of the racetrack work for you, and it seemed like you had a specific way of doing it. A little bit shallow on the entry, then really dove it down in there through the center and coming off. What were those moves like, and how were you able to execute using such a tough part of this racetrack?
Yeah, thanks, Kyle. You're right. It's a tough place to pass, and guys will typically try to do it on the outside, get a nose on the right rear quarter of you, and then they can get a good run. And early in the race there, we were just trying to save tires and pace ourselves. So that gave an opportunity for me to use a little bit of the speed that I was saving, just like you said, kind of enter kind of alongside the guy on the outside of you, and then once we get through center apex, really cut the exit off hard and make a straight line off the corner. And I was actually pleasantly surprised with all the momentum that gave me, but it worked, and fortunate to be able to get some cars there at the start. Wyatt was doing a great job kind of pacing the field, so just glad to be able to make it work. Irwindale's a tough place, but we were able to do it.
One race to go. It seems that after tonight, the championship is going to be very difficult, if not impossible, for you to lose. But despite all that, you still come out here, you still be competitive, and you continue to win races. Why is it so important for you that even though the championship battle is very much in your favor, for you to continue to come out here and run as strong as you can and pick up checkered flags?
I just enjoy it, Kyle. Honestly, it's fun for me to be able to do this and have some place to race this winter and spring while we kind of wait for everything to come back. So it's just fun for me. I like racing with these guys. We have a good opportunity with a good group to race hard but race clean. So I just come in every week looking to do as good a job as I can, and I've been fortunate to have success this year. I don't take it for granted. I certainly had some weeks in the middle stretch of the year where I was crashing and messing up my tire strategy and getting frustrated. So it's not always the good stuff. You got to take the good stuff and celebrate it when it comes, because it doesn't always happen. But just try to come to the track every week here with a good mentality, looking to have fun, and it's worked out.
And of course, the obvious tonight, you and the team main guys running some paint schemes that your father raced throughout his racing career. Coming in, when we first were introduced to you guys, it took you a little while to get into victory lane, and it meant something to you to win a broadcasted race. Now that you've been able to do that, and you've put up so many victories with us here on Verdane TV, where does this one stack up, being able to pay a little bit of tribute to your dad and help him get through some rough times right now?
Yeah, this is right up there for sure, because it means more than just a sim race or a race for that matter. And I really got to give credit to Jason Ricker. He came up with the idea for us to do this and put these schemes together. And I certainly have to thank Wyatt and Brent and Evan for hopping right on to do this. And I'm glad we could pay tribute to the different cars he's had throughout the year. Some of them have just looked fantastic. And he deserves all the credit he gets. He's got a battle in front of him right now, but he's tackling it full steam ahead. And I'm just glad we could kind of give him an outlet here with Verdane and what you guys do and what Corey and Zane and NEP have done, just to put on a good show and kind of take your mind off the real life stuff for however long we have here on these Thursday nights. So of course it totally means a lot, and I couldn't have done it without the support of the other team main guys and you guys for making it so he can see this. I really do appreciate it.
Who else makes it happen for you here in the NEPS series, being the competitor that you are and the successor that you are? Of course, you have to have some help to be able to do that.
I sure do, and shout out to my parents for sure for watching. Shout out to the Babinos for watching back at their homes. I appreciate their support. Thanks to all the team main guys for jumping on and helping us out. Thanks to all the NEP guys for letting us do that little tribute there at the beginning. Thanks to you guys, Kyle, Paul, Tim for putting this on, and thanks to Runtle North America, Libby Septic, DKB's Variety, Turn 4 Automotive, and all those partners that help us out. We really do appreciate it. You guys do a great job.
So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Winner tonight at the Irwindale Speedway. Once again, John Peters adding another victory to the W column and just getting one step closer to a second consecutive championship here in the New England, Pennsylvania Shift Marketing and Design and Grand National Series. So that just about does it for us here, Tim. A fantastic race. Irwindale Speedway, it showed us tonight why it's so entertaining, why it's my favorite short track on the iRacing service, a very racy racetrack, some great battles, some wild storyline changes, wild events that happened throughout it, all jam-packed into a quick little 77-lapper, but it sure was fun.
And only one more to go before we get this series with the checkered flag on Thursday nights with the Shift Marketing Design Grand National Series. It's going to be exciting next week. Hope you can join us at Dover, but got some racing to come as well. And Paul, I'll let you take through the upcoming events, because I know we got a couple of days off or a couple of slower days, and Sunday we're back with Sim Racing Unleashed, and Monday we got some racing, I believe, with Sim 500. We got the TCM Live, and then Tuesday, Bristol Dirt. We're gonna have some Bristol Dirt. We're gonna have some Martinsville with the Supers with Eastbound. TCM. That's gonna be exciting. Are you ready to sling some dirt?
I have to take over after you crash. Why can't we let the car shine and excel before you kill it?
Looks like my microphone's been muted the entire time. You're looking at the schedule there. We got the NEPS.
Bravo.
Yeah, it's my first night. Rookie mistake. You got the schedule up there on the screen. I'm not going to repeat it. We got the NEPS Endurance Racing Series coming up. Kyle and myself are going to be running the number 94 Kong Beer Bong Vidane TV BMW. Shout out to Brett Suggs for painting that thing up. We'll have that debuted on the Facebook page as soon as we get it. Great championship run here for John Peters. Pretty much locked it in for next week. But we've got the Shift Championship 100 at Dover next week, next Thursday night. And going to see if John's going to win that race and kind of spoil the fun for everybody else. Or maybe we'll have somebody let the rough side drag and come home with another winner. But that's going to do it here on Vidane TV. Thank you guys so much for coming out over on Facebook, over on YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, all the social media outlets. We'll catch you guys on the flip side when we do. We're going to be doing it live. Have yourselves a great night.